There once was a man named Gold Roger who was king of the pirates. He had fame, power, and wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Before they hung him from the gallows, these were the final words he said.
Our perspective is yours for the taking, but you'll have to join us first. We left everything we debated at the Yonko table.
Ever since, pirates from all over the world set sail for the Grand Line, searching for the Yonko table, the table that will make their dreams come true.
Yo, folks. Welcome to the latest and the greatest from the Yonko table. That is the voice of Grandmaster Hoop coming at you from, well, here, let me stop right here. Let's do this. Come aboard and bring along all your hopes and dreams. Da-da-da. Together we must finally find what we're looking for. Everyone together. One Piece. We're here to talk about the long-awaited Netflix adaptation, live action, One Piece series. That's right, folks. Opla is here in the Yonko table. Rightfully
Gross.
so.
Don't call it that.
Sorry.
We're
Opla is here, and we're here to break it down. What worked, what didn't, the future of the series, the changes they've made, and just our overall kind of take on this newest and latest addition to the anime adaptations. I'm your host. You could call me Grand D Teacher. Grand D Teach, that's my name. With me, as always, is fellow Yonko, DrJaceAttorney.
It's DrJaceAttorney.
Oh, you didn't change it on your name. I can't say
DrJaceAttorney.
it. Sorry, DrJaceAttorney.
You ruined it. It's over.
DrJaceAttorney. Opla is here. Aren't you excited that we're here to talk about Opla today?
I am as excited as I am confident that from now on I will tell everyone that oregano is for savages, and I will instruct them to not include it in their diet. Oregano is for savages.
Wow. Okay. What a takeaway. Something so minuscule. Very good. Very good. Well, yes, we are not alone. The Yonko are never alone, and we're glad we're not alone tonight. Let's see who will be joining us as we kick off the next great pirate generation. All right, it's a full house tonight, and we're here to talk about One Piece live action. I think the first thing to get off the chest is right now, there is a curse. There is a curse among adaptations, and it is the curse of every anime adaptation to this date. As far as I've seen, the ones I've seen.
Which ones
y'all-
have you seen?
Not many. Not many.
Go on.
Evolution,
Okay.
Dragon Ball Evolution. Yeah.
Okay.
Cowboy Bebop,
Cowboy
Cowboy
Bebop.
Avatar.
Oh,
Yep.
you know what? Throw it in there. Might
That
as well.
counts.
That counts.
It's an American anime counts. So, yep. I think that's it for me, y'all. What about y'all?
I've dipped my toes.
wait, so we're talking
Anime
talking about-
adaptation.
anime adaptations, like
That are-
not Japanese live action adaptations.
You can
They could
include
be Japanese or they could be
right.
English.
Death Note.
Which
Oh.
one? Which one?
Oh,
Which
snap.
one? Which one?
I heard the Japanese one is not that good either.
American version.
American.
But-
Okay.
Although, if we're talking Japanese version, there are some good live action Japanese.
I've heard
Rurouni Kenshin.
I've heard the live action Rurouni Kenshin's actually
good.
good.
It's really good.
What about the Attack on Titan one?
I've heard that one.
they
That
say
one's
is terrible.
bad. That one's bad.
That
I
one
saw
was
that
bad?
one. That one is bad.
Wow.
That one's
Wow.
really, really bad.
Full Metal,
That one's
has-
bad as well.
I heard.
Very
I've
bad.
heard.
Let me see. Kingdom.
Oh my gosh.
I have not heard of Kingdom.
It's actually good. I saw.
It's actually good.
I saw
Huh.
the movie because
The-
they made it into movies.
the live action movie.
Kingdom.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Okay.
It's actually not bad.
keeping track. I think we said 3 good ones so far.
Which
Here's one that
okay.
we forgot, and I forgot about this one until just this moment. Scarlett Johansson's Ghost in the Shell.
Ew! Did anyone even
come
count
on.
that? No.
That counts. That counts.
I
Right.
guess.
You see how bad this list is?
Yeah, it's egregious. It's when you put anime into live action film for whatever reason, it's just a concoction of disaster waiting to happen. Thankfully, at least with video games, right? That curse was broken. Popular media will tell you The Last of Us broke the curse. No, it wasn't The Last of Us that broke the curse. Last of Us was great, but the one that broke the curse was Castlevania. That one broke it.
Come out before Sonic?
Yes, it did.
Yes, it did. Yeah,
It's-
Castlevania did come out
And
before
while
Sonic.
it's not live action, it is is among one of the few adaptations outside of the original source, which is video games, that was successful. It was like, wow, this is really good. So if video games could do it, anime was next on the list. But it was a matter of which series was it gonna be? Which one?
Well, the crazy part about this also, after this conversation, we can all agree there is a curse. 7 times out of 10, the anime adaptation is gonna be trash. The live action anime adaptation will not be good. It will not live up to its source material. It was in the wrong hands, and yeah, it's just overall not good. So now we enter this age where, we're finally recognizing what people really want. And One Piece being the most popular, best-selling manga there is currently, and just, the worldwide success, it's like, why not make this live action adaptation? Let's right now at the Yonko table, let's go around. Did the One Piece live action break the curse?
Yes.
Definitely.
It did. Toasty, don't worry. I'm coming after you when we get into it. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Okay, I enjoyed it. I just didn't think it was amazing.
But that's better than probably.
Would you say it's better
obviously.
than some of the examples that we've just said here?
If you compare with Avatar, they definitely did a better job than Avatar, Evolution, Ghost in a Shell. It's definitely a better job. It's not a show that I would rewatch again multiple times, unlike Castlevania, which I would.
Okay,
That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair.
That's fair. I'm.
Go. What?
It broke the curse.
It broke. That's what I thought. It broke the curse.
It's good.
Wait, don't let him bully you.
No,
Don't
listen,
worry. I'm not sitting next to Graham Matt. I'm not I'm not holding anything to his head.
I will say, and we could just kind of go around with our initial reactions. Just I watched it twice now, and after my initial run, where I was just kind of very, nitpicky at the things that I disagreed with. After watching it a second time, I can definitely say, they did a good job. They did a really good job. There are still things I do not like that they did, and we'll get into it. But overall, I'm very satisfied with what they have, and I'm very excited for what they got in store.
Likewise. Yes. I do have gripes with some of the decisions they made regarding this adaptation. And I think you and I have talked about it very briefly before. And we'll actually get into it here today. But overall, I watched it, my first time, and I enjoyed it. I watched it a second time in a different setting, and I'll explain that later. That second setting, it really opened my eyes to what this show was trying to do, and I liked it even more the second time. It got better. It's like a wine. It aged so gracefully. I loved it. No, I loved it. The fact that I even won a season 2 speaks volumes, because I'm telling you, I think it was myself and Kame Chris that were coming into this with possibly the most pessimistic attitude with this series, saying this is gonna fail. This is gonna fail. It's One Piece. And we love One Piece, but you're adapting One Piece into live action, one of the most fantastical animes out there, where you have people with stretchy powers and giant people that tower over others, people that turn into fire. No, it's gonna flop. It's gonna flop. They can't do it. I don't believe in them. I believe now. I'm a believer. Oh. Wow.
Rest in peace.
R.I.P.
Dr. Mondo, do you share similar sentiments to what Dr. Jace is stating now?
Yeah, so I watched it once. I didn't have time to watch it a second time, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I felt the moments. I felt the characters. I laughed. It was like I felt the goofiness and the heart.
The heart. That's important.
The heart that I got watching the anime and even like reading the manga. So sure, they're like, it's not perfect. There are some things I don't agree with and all that, but overall, I really, really enjoyed it. I recommended it to my dad too. I was like, "Hey, so you don't have any new series to watch?"
That right there, I'm gonna come back to that. I'm gonna come back to that.
No, don't tell me.
No,
hey dad, like, what's this series?
This right there, yeah, Dr. Mondo. I'm coming back to this.
You did? Oh.
No. I'm not. No, I'll save it for that moment. But I'm not saying I did that. But very similar situation with Dr. Mondo.
Okay.
I'll explain later.
So where we stand right now. 3 goods. Toasty, you're just in the middle, which is not necessarily a bad thing. You're in the middle, but you're leaning more towards the positives.
Yeah. I want a second season. I can tell you that.
That's saying something.
Perfect.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's saying something.
It's a
Because
passing grade.
a second season mean a chance to improve.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think there's definitely things they can easily improve on and make this definitely better and better. And not to say, again, I think there's a lot of great things that happened in season 1, and we'll talk about them. We're about to get into it. And y'all been bringing it up. There's a lot of heart in this, and you can credit, and here are the 2 names you got to know from behind the scenes: Matt Owens and Steve Maeda. Those are the two showrunners. They oversaw everything. They're handpicked by Oda himself. And here's a quote from Matt Owens. He said, "If you give this to someone who doesn't love One Piece, they are going to fuck it up." And he said, "Let me be the one to fuck it up because nobody loves One Piece more than me." And that is the quote that sold Oda. And I think it worked. What these guys did, what these 2 did, you could tell they're fans. That's
you could tell, like, throughout the series, like, these are 2 people that read and appreciated the work of art that is One Piece.
Yeah.
Like, you could feel it in the show.
Easily.
Absolutely. And they're fans. I don't want to say they're fans. They're knowledgeable. Obviously, I think there's a couple of missteps here and there where it's like, maybe I'll kind of miss the mark here. But they definitely are fans. And I think, when it comes down to it, most of these anime adaptations that we see are people or studios just trying to make a bang for the buck,
As an example, Dragon Ball Evolution.
Absolutely.
One of I think it was either the director or the writer. He's actually gone on record to say post, like 10 years after Evolution, he's like, yeah, I did it for a quick buck. I'm sorry, guys. My bad. He actually admitted it. I'm like, wow, you're actually telling us.
Like, kudos for admitting it.
But you still did it.
Yeah, like, like you ruined.
Yeah.
Well, M. Night Shyamalan, and again, it's one thing if you could come and admit it, perfect. M. Night Shyamalan went out, but when he was doing press for Avatar, he said, "Oh yeah, book 1. I used to stay out with my kids and watch that whole thing with them."
I hate that.
Such a liar.
I hate.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What series did you look?
Full of shit. He said he might have watched it. He said, "Did they say Sokka? That's not right. His name should be Sokka." Fire coming out of their hands. They need a source.
Aang? Don't you mean Ong?
Who needs Avatar? Who needs Avatar Roku? Let's do a dragon. Dragons are cooler. The list goes on. It was bad.
It was bad.
If you're not a fan of the source, you're not gonna do it justice. Jeff Fowler, who directed the Sonic movies,
Mm.
did he did one of the shorts for one of the Sonic promos or something way back when.
Oh, he did the Shadow. That he was part of the team that worked on the little intro CGI movie for Shadow the Hedgehog.
But
There
wait, then this guy though, he almost messed up the Sonic movie with the CGI first until the internet bullied him into fixing it.
I guess
So-
he must have co-signed.
Yeah, unknown who co-signed, who approved that, who pushed that out the door. At least they changed it for better
After
or
a lot of
worse.
bullying, yeah.
Right.
We got a great internet
one
meme
of the
from
greatest
it.
victories of our time. You know,
One of the greatest
I agree.
victories, right.
We got a great
layered levels of marketing, right? Maybe
You think that was purposeful? To get people involved?
listen.
Conspiracy.
I'm putting on my tinfoil hat. I mean, it's possible. It's possible. You never know.
Maybe. I don't leave it. But then, just like how you got to get people to, who are fans of the source material, you also, I think it would be smart if your creator is around. Wouldn't you want them involved? You know,
Yeah.
Right.
Brian and Mike, I don't think were involved at all with Last Airbender, as far as I know. And for any other adaptation that I know of, I don't think any of the creators were involved, not even as a producer of it. Probably those rights were up in the air for anybody to kind of take. But Oda, this is so near and dear to his heart. He says, I'm gonna be involved every step of the way. He was here. And they even combated him on a couple of things as far as, the creative liberties
Wild.
they wanted to take. Right.
You don't know how to tell this story.
You don't know your own
You
story.
can tell the story whenever it comes up, sure. I know two rules that he left, though.
I
if
know
I'm not-
one of them.
We'll go ahead.
Oh, well, the no romance between
No
the Straw
romance.
Hats.
Among the Straw Hats, yep.
Right.
Among them, meaning they couldn't romance each other.
Right. Because, if it was up to them, Nami X Luffy, they were going to do. Actually, no. Nami X Sanji. That's what they were
You
going
know
to
what?
push.
Yeah.
That's what they were going to push.
No.
If Oda did not lay down the rule and said no romance with the Straw Hats, as in amongst each other, 100%, they were gonna do Sanji X Nami. I guarantee.
yeah.
I guarantee it.
I was feeling Nami and Zoro, if anything.
What?
No, it was gonna be
Absolutely
Sanji.
not.
No,
What?
like,
I mean,
Sanji-
that's not what I want. That's what the
If
show.
they-
did.
No,
like,
I'm
if
saying,
they
how
would've
did you
given-
even
if
see
they
that?
would have given the romance option, they would have waited till second season Robin Zoro. That would have
Robin Zoro. Christ.
It's such a icky
Just saying.
little
I'm
topic.
glad Oda stamped it. He said, "Don't
Yeah.
you dare. Don't you dare."
Yeah.
Well,
And-
it would have been given Riverdale at that point, with everybody hooking up with each other and
Thank
switching partners
Christ. Thank
every
Christ.
season. Which Riverdale is another Netflix associate.
So what was the second rule?
The second rule was you cannot change the backstories of the Straw
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
good.
That's good.
Yep, those are really good stamps to put
Yeah.
because they're essential to how One Piece functions. Honestly.
Yeah. Your core Straw Hats need to have those tragic backstories as Oda wrote them, not their own versions.
That
Of,
left for
this is much
interpretation.
more sad than what Oda did.
No, and kind of really hammering a bit what Grandy Teach said. When it came to having the creators on board, we've seen already what having the creators on board can do. Hint, hint, Last of Us. The creators,
Oh, good,
Oh,
great example.
right.
the creators were on
shock.
board there.
You have
And
the
guess
OG
what
people
We got
on.
possibly the best video game adaptation we've seen.
Right.
So it's not saying that let the creators take the reins, but they know the story better than anyone. It came from their mind. It came from their heart. You should have them as part of that. It's a part of them. So it's
Right.
like I think it's a matter of respect and honoring the creators. It's like, hey, it's not that for you to do everything. We want to put our little spark in it, but this is still your baby.
Absolutely.
Right.
We haven't mentioned it. Miyamoto being involved with the Mario Bros. Movie.
Oh yeah, Nintendo.
Yeah.
Nintendo working very closely with that. I feel like it's really putting to bed that that Hollywood I guess misunderstanding where Hollywood, they'll see something that's popular and they'll be like, "Oh, okay, yes, the kids love that.
Money.
Money, yes, money. But if we're gonna make a new version of it, whether it's a movie, a show, whatever, we have to do it in a way that we think will appeal to those audiences." And it's like, no, you don't have to just take what's there. It's the homework's done. The homework is done.
The roadmap is there.
Just copy and paste. It's not that hard. And the money will come printing. And I feel like the examples that we just laid out are literally there. Mario movie, one of the few films this year that grossed over $1 billion.
Second highest of this year.
Highest of this year. One Piece, God, I forgot the numbers.
Number 1 in 86 countries.
86 countries.
It beat the Stranger Things.
Insane.
Stranger Things. The last show to hold the record was Wednesday with I think 83.
It beat Wednesday.
Yes,
Yeah.
it beat right.
Jeez,
One Piece has been pretty much the most popular show that Netflix has released.
Oh God. Oh yes.
And it's just
yes.
Yeah, it's not like we're watching. It's not like 86 countries are watching something.
You want to
bad.
make it even better. It's like One Piece this week. You're including the live action. You include the anime. You include the manga.
Big
Oh
things are
yeah.
happening in the
One
world of
Piece
One
had
Piece.
a tripleta today.
Phenomena in 3 different
Medias.
genres of media.
Yeah.
Insane.
That's GOAT. That's top tier GOAT. Right.
The timing too. The timing is actually.
No, the timing.
It
is
was
perfect.
spot on.
Right.
You're winning. You're winning in the writing media. You're winning in the animation media, and hell, you won in the live action media. All in one
They
week.
knew what they were doing. I think
They did. This was planned.
They
planned.
for sure did.
I love it.
Love to see it. So the show did take some liberties, and now we're gonna get into we're gonna take it by arc. We'll talk about the characters in that arc. So we'll cover all the Straw Hats. We'll cover all the new things or elements that are introduced in each arc and what we liked and whatnot. And we'll get through this 8 episodes if they can condense. How many chapters was it?
This was volume 1 through 9. I sent an image to the Discord. Link to that down below.
Is that the image where you're like, oh, this is the only part we cover? We have
Yeah. I want to say because I think I remember the volume cover of volume 10, and I think that's when they
10.
get
it's the 10.
It's to 10. Okay.
Yeah.
Because volume 10 is when they actually get into the Grand Line, I think.
They cut it off, right before.
Right.
So I think it adapted 95 chapters.
Okay.
Damn.
Yeah.
In
95
8 episodes. I think they totaled about 8 hours, give or take.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think that was one of
an hour
the
long. I think the shortest one was 49-50 minutes.
None of them were shorter than 50, I don't think.
I think one.
There was
50.
one. There was one that was 45, I think.
No way.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. There was one. It was 45, 49. It was in the 40s. It was in the 40s. The only reason why I know is because I was doing reaction videos to it over on the YouTube page. But yes, one of them was in the 40 mark. But I mean, it still felt like a complete episode. It didn't feel like it just ended. And I wasn't left the way I was left with Secret Invasion. or other popular shows.
Let's not bring mid-CU here, please. We're talking.
I apologize. I apologize.
We're talking about One Piece, not
I agree.
Very
Sure,
true.
sure.
Very true.
Not to say there's not some elements in here that were not mid, because well, here let's get into it. Okay.
Okay.
So let's talk about episodes 1 and 2. Romance Dawn, great title. Let's talk about Luffy, Zoro, Nami. We get our first 3 Straw Hats here. Luffy, Anaki Godoy.
Nailed
Did
it.
he do it for you?
Nailed it.
He nailed it.
Love it.
Absolutely nailed it.
Love it. You're awfully quiet
And I
there,
love
Toasty. What's
that-
going on?
And I love that Luffy's Hispanic.
He is Mexican. Yep.
Yes.
Wait, I thought he was Brazilian.
Okay.
At first
Go
I
ahead.
thought, and then I looked him up, and he's Mexican.
So
He's
Oda,
Mexican.
he came out with that side panel, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
says the
SBS corner.
All right,
you
SBS
damn
corner.
savage.
SBS corners.
Yes.
And he came out and he said what nationalities each of the Straw Hats would be. He did say Luffy would be Brazilian.
Yes.
They did not cast a Brazilian actor. However, by making him Brazilian, they're just trying to say he'd be Latino.
Someone from Latin
Yeah.
America.
Yeah, someone from Latin America.
Yeah. And they went down the list with all of them. Like he said, Zoro's Japanese,
Zoro's Japanese, Nami's Swedish.
Swedish, Frankie's
Sanji's-
No,
Frankie
like
America.
Sanji, like the actor.
French.
He had,
French.
no,
He's-
No,
British.
not the actor,
No,
but
Oda
like
said
Oda
Sanji
said
would
Sanji
be
would
from
be French.
France. But yeah, the actor has dual citizenship in Spain and England.
Oh, okay.
but he has I think he has British and Arab.
Yes, he
descent.
does.
Wow. Okay.
Mhm,
Okay.
he does. But yeah, I think Anaki. Wait, Tosi, yeah, you were quiet. Hold up, man.
Yeah, Toasty. What you gotta say? What you gotta say about Inaki?
Iñaki.
Okay.
Speak up.
I know y'all gonna hate me for that, but I thought that was one of my issue with the live action. I feel like reading the manga, for example, a lot of the comic or watching the anime, a lot of the joke hit better. In watching a live action, it had to grow on me because part of it I thought was cringe, the way the character was acting, and I was like, I understand why some people hate Luffy in the manga, because if I was stuck with somebody like this in real life, I couldn't tolerate them. But not to say he didn't portray a good character. At the end of the day, Luffy is supposed to be annoying, and he did that really well. The fact that I was annoyed by his character is a good thing.
It's a positive that you found him annoying.
Yes, it's somewhat of a positive. That doesn't mean that I didn't just cringe every time he said something weird, but I don't know.
The translation from anime to live action, you kind of had a different, I guess, take on how you would view a character like this.
Yeah, because I tried to watch it in because initially the Japanese dub was not available. I was like, okay, let me maybe try to watch it in Japanese to see what it was, and I figured out no, it was available on the desktop version of Netflix, not on the TV app where I was watching it. Which,
God, Netflix is such a
I know.
bunch of
Is that what it
clowns.
was? That's
really-
so
Yeah,
dumb.
Apparently, that's what
Yes,
it was.
because I have an LG TV. To that, it was not available. And notice, I have an Apple TV. I use the Apple TV. It was not available to the Apple TV, but it was available when I watched it on my iPad.
Wow.
And I was like, what the hell? And initially, I tried to watch it in English, and I was like, I can't do this. Went to watch it in French, and I was like, oh, no, I can't do this either.
You watched it in French?
Yes, dude, I tried to watch it in French because I was like, okay, I understand the language. Maybe it's going to be good, but the French was, oh my God, it was a travesty. And I mean, look, God, whatever language it is, I know it's difficult for somebody who doesn't understand the language. The language it had for the French, it did not match the character whatsoever. It was immediately like, ugh, like I wanted to puke. I was like, you know what? The English is going to be the best. And I went to watching the English, which, again, was not bad. I thought that every character was, for me, Sanji was the best character. I feel like that was cast out of all of them. I like the Sanji character. I feel like he portrayed Sanji really well.
Sanji was really good.
Zoro, didn't really like Zoro's character. I feel like it was the worst out of everybody in terms of personality. Because even though Zoro is supposed to be a serious character, he was kind of a clown. Luffy, he did his job, I guess. And I mean, I don't know. I thought that. Yeah, I mean,
So you say that at least like of the cast, Zoro, you say was like the weakest link of the cast.
yes. So even though I did not enjoy Luffy, and I thought Luffy was extremely cringe, like his humor, the way he acted, everything about it, I was just like, okay, that's weird. Because I watched the anime, and I remember liking him in the anime, which is weird. And I feel like somehow, I'm guessing it's a new actor. This guy's a new actor, right?
He's
fresh.
up and
relatively
coming.
fresh.
He's only like 20 years
Yeah.
old.
So you see, maybe that's what it is. Like maybe he needs. If we had a voice actor doing it, the emotion would have been portrayed better, or the reaction, the voice would have been portrayed better. And that's why I give him an excuse. He's a brand new actor doing his best. And at the end of the day, he was given a great script, and he did a really good job with the script. But I could also see it could have been better if it was, honestly, if there was a voiceover. I feel like it could have been better.
Hold up, let me say this.
Actually,
I don't agree with the voiceover bits simply because if those voices don't match whatever expressions are on the characters' faces, it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be really weird.
And that's why I swear with the French one is just takes you out of it.
Right. Now, what I'll say about Inaki though, and this is kind of a take I have, I guess, on the series as a whole.
Mhm.
When you compare to the manga and the anime, One Piece is just very silly and it's very cartoony and it's very over the top in those moments when it's not serious. Like they do a very good job of balancing the goofiness with the seriousness. And the show, what I think they tried to do was bring that goofiness into a more realistic.
Yes.
And you see, that's a problem.
You took the words out of my mouth. Like,
And so, yeah, with Inaki, I think what he took from Luffy, as far as they didn't want him to be over the top, which was
because
something
that
I
would have
would've
been
liked.
annoying.
Well, I would have liked to just see what it looks like to be over the top. However, I do feel he brought what he needed to bring as far as Luffy is absent-minded at times.
Yeah.
He's I guess not the most socially aware of certain things. And when he did get serious, I did feel the serious bits.
yes.
But not every time. I won't say it's perfect across the board, but he himself, I think, is likable, and I did actually like him.
Like he grew on me as the series progressed. Iñaki really grew on me. Him as Luffy, and I think one thing I loved the casting throughout. I really did.
Let's just talk about the Straw Hats. Let's open the door to the Straw Hats.
So yeah, I really like the casting throughout. All of them. And I know, Tosi, I know you said Zoro was your least favorite. I liked Zoro, and I think I can understand that there are some things that you can really portray in an anime and a manga. That goofiness, that cartoony nature, it comes off really good in that section of media. But when you translate it to a live action, you run the risk of just becoming very annoying and being like, what the hell is going on? And I wouldn't be surprised, again, this is the first season. They did an amazing job with the first season, and now that the world knows about this, what makes you think that the second season they might explore a little bit more those things?
And you see, that's why I agree completely with you with this. Everything you said, I 100%
like the
agree with you,
goofiness.
just because-
It's like I wouldn't be surprised if these are some creative decisions that they're like, okay, we have to be funny and goofy, but we can't go over the top here. This is our first season of this. We really gotta nail this. And now that you have your following, now you have a following that doesn't even know about the manga, or they're gonna now look at the manga and maybe the anime. And now you can really take the risk in that second season. You can explore Zoro's lack of direction, which is
It's
here,
and it's in One Piece, and it's something that cracks me up all the time with Zoro.
Yup.
The guy is the definition of a badass, yet the guy doesn't even know up from down, left from right.
I love it.
Yep.
And I think I was totally fine that they didn't explore it, that they didn't explore this in this season, because it's like, again, you're going into uncharted waters, uncharted territory here. Like adapting the best manga ever made into a live action, not only adapting it, but adapting it well.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I feel they did a great job in all that.
But you see, I agree with the Zoro thing, and you mentioned one thing: Zoro always getting lost. I expected more of that in the live action. I understand they were playing it safe, but for me, that also felt wrong because by playing it safe, sometimes you remove too much of a character personality. We
I
know
agree
that
with
Zoro
Right there.
Yeah,
Right there.
I agree with that.
too much.
I agree.
The live action Zoro is nothing like the manga Zoro. Like for example, when there's a scene in the anime where all of the characters are running down a street, Zoro makes a right and everyone keeps going, and you can see Luffy stretch his arm and grab Zoro as he's running away. And I'm like, you see, this is goofy, and they could have added that small scene and the live action just to poke fun.
I can agree with that.
But
I
the only thing we get is Zoro when they are in when they're in the island with the
I think it was Syrup Village when he's like, I thought this was the way to the house.
Yes, that was the
that one. That was good. That was good.
That was good. That was funny.
You see,
Yeah.
that one was funny, but I felt like they could have added a little bit extra to that scene because it just felt out of place for him.
I mean,
Because
they
nowhere
did it
before
again.
What they did really well with Zoro, in my opinion, it's like that Zoro's a fucking is a drunkard. Like he's always drinking. It's like, oh look, okay, and he's always like the entire show. Like I can see Zoro with some alcohol in him. They like they did that well. But yeah, I agree with you, Toasty. Like they could have implemented. It didn't have to be like so over the top. It could have been something as simple as that Luffy does. Like, okay, here we go, man.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, like I think those are some of the things that, especially like a brand new show that you're going into Uncharted Worlds, like you're bound to have these things. You're bound to have them, and again, it's not like, oh, like I completely excuse it, but I can understand somewhat.
I think
Now,
with
going forward, it's like
with Luffy,
you have the following.
I think they went in the right direction for someone like Luffy for a season 1 at least, where it's kind of like a mild taste to a chicken wing, right? It's not too hot. It's not too hot, but it's got some flavor in it. It's good. It's good.
It's got some adobo.
It's got some adobo. Yes, it's right in there. So from there, what you need to do is for a potential season 2. Now that you have the audience, like Dr. Mondo was saying, now you start, pushing for more of that goofiness, more of that silliness. One thing I will say for Zoro, at least for the purposes of episode 1 and 2, I did like him in episodes 1 and 2, the Romance Dawn episodes. Yeah. He was great for this segment. Obviously, as we go on, the more you saw of the character, I was like, you probably could do a little bit more. But for now, episodes 1 and 2, he was great. He was that always serious, badass swordsman that knows how to, control the room and everything. I loved it. And our first introduction to him, he's killing someone. He killed that Mr. 7 guy.
Baroque works, Mr. 7, a black man.
Which interesting enough, in the manga, it was only ever mentioned.
It was mentioned
once,
and it's way further in the manga too.
Which is they did their homework.
They did their homework. They did, and that's what I love. Where it's just like a little line in there where it's like, yeah, I mean, you don't have to include it, but the fact that they did, I mean, little things like that, I can tell. Wow, these are fans that are making this. Because, and I love this. And
again, like that's something they did really well, because like when it comes to a manga, like in a manga, you can kind of, when you're progressing through mangas and arcs and sagas and all that kind of stuff, you can kind of get away with kind of like dropping a thing. Oh, like this is the next big bad, right? In mangas, obviously you can build up to them, but like you can kind of get away. Now in a series, a live action series, you can't do that. You have to give like little breadcrumbs everywhere. You gotta leave them there.
The thing with
this was a great breadcrumb to build up to what's gonna be season 2.
Well, the thing about an adaptation that of something this large is that there are so many roadmaps that you can choose to set up. So introducing Baroque works there clearly shows that they have a long game.
They have a long game.
And there's other things they did too.
There's other things. Yeah.
But I'm gonna say this real quick about Zoro. The one thing that was missing for me was the arrogance was there a little bit, but
Yes,
it's the
arrogance. I
smug,
felt it.
it was the smugness that was missing. I love it when Zoro used to smile, being like, "Oh yeah, you're nothing. You're small fry to me," you know. Like when he first meets Mihawk in the manga, it's more like Hawkeye Mihawk. Your swordsman, World's Greatest Swordsman title ends today. Like, you know, but this one was just and McKenyu, he was good.
He was good. He nailed one element of he nailed that singular characteristic of Zoro that was present in the show. He just didn't get everything else from Zoro.
Which is an issue, because at the end of the day, if you only get a portion of the Zoro manga anime personality, is this really Zoro?
I
Well,
think
for,
so.
it might as well be a new original.
For the
Because
purposes,
Mihawk, for example, Mihawk was one of the perfect cast. He looked like him. He acted the way I expect him to act, and he had the way. I mean, he just had the look, I guess, or the personality for it. It was a 1-for-1 match. But with Zoro, again, compare Zoro manga, the first 94 chapters, to what we got in the anime. It's not the same character, and I really hope they change that in season 2. And they allowed this actor to explore more of the personality and, you know, branch off more.
I think we're gonna say. I think we're gonna see growth in like a lot of the characters, both actors and their characters. But really, Nami, like another character that I loved was Nami. Nami, fantastic.
Nami, I think, was the best actor/actress.
Of the whole thing.
Yeah, easily.
Yes. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Of the Straw Hats, the one that acted the best, Nami.
And I don't want to jump too far ahead because we're not there yet, but you need this. You need someone with this type of acting to nail her later bit towards the end of season 1 with the whole Arlong thing. You need that. That is a requirement. And I remember when I was watching, if they don't nail Arlong, the emotional bits of Arlong, I am going to be pissed. I don't care if everything else I loved and praised, like, oh wow, Luffy is so stretchy and Zoro got the swords, Usopp doing his marksman thing, Sanji's cooking for the would-be king. If they didn't nail Nami, I was going to be mad.
By the way, like I know we're gonna talk about this later, but I loved Arlong.
We'll save him. We'll save him.
We'll get there.
So I just wanted to stamp it there.
Sure, but you know, again, with the idea of the roadmap, because manga, anime, we don't get that Nami Arlong connection until Baratier, where she sees the Arlong wanted poster from Johnny and Yusaku. Here they said, no, we're gonna play with this the entire season,
and they did. Oh,
we're gonna
loved it.
Play with the notion she hates pirates.
All pirates are the same,
right? She's clearly got a lot of baggage as far as, oh, I don't have any friends. You know, I grew up on a small village. All this stuff, we're gonna explore this and set these breadcrumbs, as we said. And yeah, I think she acted it. Emily Rudd is her name.
Yeah,
I think she did it. Yeah, I think she
did a very good job. Again, I think of the 5, best actress, like the best actress.
And she even did good as far as, you know, you could see her warming up to them.
Yes.
I think that was done very well.
It was very, very believable, like how it starts and how throughout the series you see her like really warming up to them. And actually, she feels like really bad, like leaving them. And all that,
right? You can tell that
feel
was
like that guilt that she has, like that's pulling at her. Like, I'm doing this not because I want to; it's because I have to.
Well, I have to, and I'm gonna save you. Arlong was about to,
exactly.
Bite his neck off.
I know,
right?
I know, but you can.
No, I'm adding on.
Do you think their introductions in the Did you like the changes that they made to the original Romance Dawn story with
Romance Dawn
Axehand
is
Morgan?
the one. I think Romance Dawn is the one you're going to have to make those changes because it's
the weakest of East Blue.
It's the weakest, and on top of that, again, as an adaptation, we got to condense this.
Yes.
50+ minute episodes. We gotta this one makes the sense to condense it here. So I was fine with it. That wig is atrocious. I'm not a fan of the wig.
You're not a fan of the wig?
No.
Wow.
No, I'm not. They could do much better on the wig, or just dye her hair.
Interesting.
Take a from Kirsten Dunst doing Mary Jane.
It's the salt. She's at sea. It's the salt in the air.
Oh my god.
No, absolutely not.
Oh wow.
No. Let's talk about Usopp.
I like the actor of Usopp. I feel like though they didn't give him a lot to work with. He had one moment, and again, I don't want to jump ahead because we're still kind of like in Romance Dawn, but later on in Arlong, he had his moment with Chu, the fishman that he fought against. And they missed a very key element to Usopp's development in that arc, which was him realizing he doesn't want to be a coward anymore. He wants to fight. Tatakai!
Well, not only that, but there's I think they missed the most with Usopp.
I think they did, yeah. Because whenever he was on screen, I'm like, yeah, I want more of whatever this Usopp thing is. And I think part of the reason why we didn't get as much Usopp stuff, and I think it's an overall criticism of the show, the parts that they did change, the Garp and Kobe and Helmeppo bit, I feel like because of that subplot, and we're gonna mention it eventually, because of that subplot, that eats away from interactions we could be having with the Straw Hats. So imagine a world where we don't have that Garp subplot. We probably have more crew interactions. We have more Zoro getting lost. We have more Usopp acting like a clown and palling around with Luffy. Why do they fight Oda on this? Why do they do this?
Honestly, it made no sense.
That's actually one of my.
Hold on, let's keep it on.
Let's not get bogged down.
We'll come
we
back
will
come back.
So yeah, I think that was maybe one of my gripes with the show. Again, like I liked Usopp. Don't get me wrong, I liked. Usopp.
I loved him.
Like the actor did a really good job.
Jacob Romero.
I felt that out of all the Straw Hats in the live action adaptation, the one that got the short end of the stick was Usopp.
He had the least amount of material, like, and he appeared like you would think Sanji, who we meet like in the last 3 episodes, he would have the least amount of material to work with.
Exactly,
but it wasn't. It was Sanji. Like, I mean, it was Usopp.
It's very interesting because Usopp has material, like Syrup Village. He has really strong moments in that arc.
Very.
I mean, when we talk about Syrup Village arc, we'll get to it, but they substituted a lot of his material for, as you said, either the Garp stuff. I have my gripes about the Zoro backstory being in the middle of the Syrup Village arc. So we'll come back there. And then as far as the backstories go, there wasn't much given for Usopp's backstory.
And like the only thing that I could say, like what will save it later on, right? Because Usopp, like one thing that One Piece does really well with Usopp is that really all the characters, but I would say like Usopp is how you see the coward becoming kind of like this brave warrior of the sea. Correct. You know what he wants.
That's the beauty of it. He's the one guy without powers.
Like in a crew full of like the monster trio, which is Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji, you see Usopp. But again, like there's going to be many moments like in the future, like of the series, that Usopp you can really highlight that growth of Usopp.
I hope it's there.
Exactly. I really hope that going forward, they don't miss those moments.
They have big.
Usopp is a very lovable character because of how human he is.
They
Like-
set Usopp up to have. He's got the most work they got to do for.
But yeah, like
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
again, if this series reaches like those lengths, they better nail God Usopp and Sniper.
One scene I 100% want to see in the next season, depending on how much they cover, is the scene when they go fight Crocodile and Usopp is getting dragged to the sand.
The back,
and his skull, yes, his skull get cracked.
And
Honestly-
miraculously survives.
Miraculously survived.
Yeah,
Honestly,
a testament,
love, like, all the
testament
Usopp
to God
moments.
Usopp. Yes.
because that scene
Like,
to me is
if they
iconic.
nail Sniper King and God Usopp,
God, y'all are fucking so. I need him to shoot the weather vane in Logtown against that other sniper. That's what I need first.
where is Sniper Island? It's in your heart.
Oh, he better
has to
have
earn
that.
He has to earn that, and I hope the writers stand by him because,
Yeah,
again, the weakest of the Straw Hats, in my opinion.
they did him dirty.
If there,
Yeah,
yeah, I guess if there's a season to do it in to like throw him under the bus, I guess this one.
this,
But
right.
I mean, he still has
Yes.
moment. He in the source material, he does have moments even in this. But if you have to do it for whatever reason,
It has
because
to be like in
because
this season, because
yeah,
he has really powerful moments.
We just
Yeah.
In the other season.
There's
Yeah.
little things they could have left breadcrumbs for. His ingenuity, like, his tactfulness, all his
his
the great things
arsenal.
about-
He's got an arsenal of like stuff.
That's
Like
right.
if anything, like the breadcrumb they left when it comes to that, it's like obviously he didn't have his arsenal here, but you started to see him making his arsenal. Like
But
saying,
the big
Like,
thing they missed was that his cowardice leads to him being creative.
exactly,
and they-
because he just like he wants to run away from a fight. That's what every invention.
They did good in
he
like
does
one
is
moment.
run away from a fight.
Exactly. No, it's like how's the best way for me to avoid a fight? And that's little things they could have done. And we'll get to it when we talk more about Syrup Village. But yeah, Usopp's got the most work cut out for him from the writer's room.
And
I
last
have a
but
question
not
regarding
least,
this. Did they kill off Mary?
Yes.
And
Yes, they did.
that was
Oh,
different
yes.
in the manga.
That is-
yes,
Literally.
Mary's
Correct.
body is still decomposing in that well
I
up to
read-
the live
I read-
action.
We'll come back to it, but I read I'll save it, but there's some reason that probably people won't necessarily like.
Okay.
So we'll come back. Sanji,
Last but not least,
played by Taz Skylar. Let me
great.
tell you right now, I think he's the best.
Yeah,
I
he's
think,
the best.
I think he's
I
the
think-
best. Yeah, he's
I think,
yeah.
I think
yeah.
Emily Rudd is the best actor among them, but I think he best.
Oh, he is
portrayed
Sanji. He is Sanji.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
scene
Like,
that was
Sanji, it
going
was just like-
around where
I love in Baratie how he's like, so what do you want? And then Nami is like, well, madame, it's like, and like how he just changes.
Oh no, he
completely.
goes
Yeah.
in. He's like, "Yo, we got shit food, got shit drink. Our service is ass." And then she's like, "Well," and he's like, "Well, yeah. What do you be have? We have mineral ice, cube,
crushed, ice cold, warm, room temperature.
perfect."
Want to order something sweet for someone sweet?
Yep.
It was clean. It was clean.
Or to Nojiko,
Homie had Riz.
like, he said, well, a good chef doesn't give out his recipe, but I do private lessons."
Ah!
Like he's
No, he
smooth.
he was slick. He was slick. And what sold me on the character already was even before the show came out, that clip that was circulating in the Baratier
with Zeph.
with Zeph, and I'm like, oh my god, they even nailed the line cook attitude. Everything about it, I'm just like, wow, no, this right
No,
here
like,
is Sanji
Sanji,
live
like-
action. This is perfect.
Yeah, like the actor really nailed it with Sanji, and and when he finally says Moss Head, yes, let's start.
Sure.
Let's start
It was
seeing.
there.
So, they had some
tension
quips
between
back and
those
forth.
two.
They started
Back
it
and forth
earlier.
of Zoro and Sanji is hilarious.
Who let the
throughout
waiter on board?
They started it earlier than they did in the manga, and which is fine. If they want to play with that now,
Do it. No,
By all means.
I'm all for it.
No,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
Like
Do it.
That's some of the funniest banter in One Piece, though.
Yeah,
like,
easily.
Throughout like the manga, it's like the Zoro Sanji banter.
Yeah, but the thing is, it really doesn't start till much later. Like the first time I ever think you hear Mosshead is Long Ring Island arc. So the fact that it's here early, I'm fine with it. I'm upset.
Totally fine with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it.
The character story, the character, the actor, everything he was the best representation from the manga anime version of the character. Hands down.
Yep.
No, I would say that I think out of all, when you see like even resemblance, he's
the way he walks, the way he stands,
he's identical.
Yeah, the hands in the pocket, the jacket.
Yeah,
it was
everything.
spitting image.
Everything.
The backstory.
Like, I was seeing Sanji.
Yeah, the backstory was really well portrayed. He had the best backstory, and I thought was the one that, I mean, unlike the other characters, I guess, it was the one that they put the most effort in.
Yes.
Nothing was skipped, nothing was changed. It was just 1-for-1 for the manga panel. If you have the manga panel, they said, we're going to adapt this 1-for-1. And I like to believe that Sanji had to be the favorite character of the writers because nobody got that treatment.
I think funny enough, as it relates to Sanji, I think the opposite is even said when it comes to Oda. I think Oda doesn't really like Sanji that much. And it's wild because it's like Sanji's a fan favorite. And I feel like these writers, they definitely took Sanji. They're like, hey, we understand Oda. This is one of his least favorite Straw Hats. Let's make him have so much riz, give him the best backstory, give him the best cooking scenes. And I loved it. It was great. It was great.
Speaking of backstories, and I think this is my gripe. I think the other little gripe, I wasn't a fan of Shanks.
Well, okay,
hold up,
right there. Let's go ahead, Grand D. Teach.
What we're gonna go on the backstories now?
We're gonna go
like we talked about, like Sanji having the best backstory. That's why I kind of went there, but okay, like I can hold my tongue for a moment.
I mean, we could talk. You want to do we could do the backstories here. Let's do the backstories. So you're not a fan of Shanks. Is anybody else similar sentiments?
I am not a fan of Shanks.
Interesting.
I'm not a fan of the story. I'm not a fan of representation. I'm not a fan of him.
I am a fan of this Shanks. I like this Shanks.
What?
So
because the big thing,
I'm a fan of Kid Luffy. Kid Luffy did a good job.
Kid Luffy's fine.
Kid Luffy is fine. I think the best of the kid actors was actually Zoro's kid actor. I really enjoyed Zoro's backstory.
Oh, you think? Actually, you know what? Yeah, I think Kid Zoro was probably the best. I
mean, he's the oldest of the kids.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, the thing is, oh god, and it's getting into nitty gritty. Sanji's Kid Sanji.
He did a good job.
He did a good job for the parts that he was able to talk in. So like the parts where he's like, oregano's for savages.
Oh, he's saying the parts where he just had to emote.
Where he had to emote. It was good. It was good. But at the same time, like small little things like I have some personal bias towards the Baratier arc in general, just because
we'll get there.
That was at least when I first got into One Piece, that was the first arc I ever read of One Piece. So I know the arc like the back of my hand. And there are scenes like since we're talking about the flashbacks, I think they got it perfectly, like literally visuals, the story, the whole thing with the leg, everything. But there was one minor thing that I wish they gave the kid actor, because it would have been more range for him to do. Sanji has like an inner monologue in the anime and manga where he's like talking to himself and he's like, okay, I have 5 days worth of food, but if I portion it like this, I can stretch it out to 2 weeks. And if I stretch out to 2 weeks, I can do A, B, and C. And it's this thing where I'm like, it's this kid trying to rationalize how to avoid starvation and what he's gonna do, and what he's gonna do to Zeph if a ship comes by. He's not gonna warn Zeph. In his mind, he's saying, yo, screw that guy. He's the reason why I'm here. If a ship comes by, I'm having that ship take me and leave him. But you don't get that in this flashback. He's just quiet the whole time. The facial expressions when he confronts Zeph is really good. But
Yes.
that was one thing that I wish that they had in there. Just some of that dialogue, because you're left to just, watch the scene and assume for yourself, like, oh, he's eating food. He ran out of food. He's hungry now. Day, 70, 80, whatever. Now he's starving.
But yeah, I feel that of the backstories, and again, I think all like the kid actors did a good job. I really feel so. I think my gripe is like I did not like Shanks.
My thing for not liking Shanks was I feel like he's missing the charisma of Shanks.
Yeah,
completely.
that's the thing. Like Shanks,
Yeah.
He has the humbleness, like, oh, he's nice.
Yeah.
He's nice. But I'm missing that happy feeling that you're supposed to get whenever Shanks is either talking or on screen.
Let me explain why y'all don't like Shanks. And I watching it twice, I figured out what they were trying to do. And this is kind of gripes that I have with the series as a whole, as kind of they're doing a lot of telling y'all stuff versus just kind of showing and like displaying it. For example, the biggest thing that they were trying to do with the Luffy's backstory was establish what is a good pirate. They're trying to tell you there are good pirates and there are bad pirates. There's even a couple of dialogue moments where Luffy's like, pirates can be good, or it'll be like, Kobe will be like, don't you pillage and do stuff? He's like, I don't want to do that. Be the pirates about freedom, And right there, when you choose to do that, you're taking away kind of the audience own kind of reaction to a lot of what's going on in One Piece. And so with Luffy's backstory and how the episode works, it's the episode where they introduce Buggy, a bad pirate who's got Orange Town in chains to watch the circus. And now there's this, and like the dialogue with Kobe and Garp talking about, why piracy is bad and whatnot. We're given an example of a bad pirate. And then with the backstory, they said, we got to show Shanks is a good pirate. Shanks is going to influence Luffy to be a good pirate. And that's what we got to nail. So all you do is get that humbleness of Shanks. You don't get Shanks being like, have a drink, Luffy, come on.
You're going with Australian Shanks.
I always go to that.
Luffy.
Luffy.
Did you eat the gum fruit?
They're like, Luffy, I was saving that. Like, I always go to that one. So I liked Shanks, the actor. I thought he was good. I will admit, he's probably missing the charisma. But it came because they really wanted to tell you there are good pirates.
I can understand where you're coming at. I really do.
No, that's why. That is what happened.
But you could still nail that message having the charisma.
No. Listen, I'm not saying taking the charisma was a good thing. What I'm saying,
No, I know you're
what
not.
happened.
I know you're not.
You could do that easily. You don't have to tell us there are good pirates out there. That is for the audience to establish. Like, that's super easy from get-go. One Piece, Luffy and crew are saving towns. They're not out here saying, give me your treasure. I don't know why they thought they needed to tell us that thing. And it's the same thing with the Marines. Like Kobe confronting Garp saying, so there's bad Marines?
I guess if there are good pirates and bad pirates, there must be good Marines and bad Marines. They did! Right. Axe-Hand Morgan!
But no,
and Helmeppo!
I mean, there's going to be worse down the line. But you're right. They showed us. We didn't need that dialogue exchange.
Yes, I think it's like they really tried to like spoon feed the audience.
Spoon feeding, yep, they're spoon feeding.
Yeah.
They tried to really spoon feed the audience, and like again, it wasn't that I was mad, but I do feel that leaving a little bit up in the air, it adds some spice, some oregano, some adobo.
Oregano, god damn it.
Some adobo to the show. And again, I really hope like these are things in season 1 that like later on, again, you already have us. You ensnared us. You ensnared the non One Piece viewers. Now you can do whatever the fuck you want. But yeah, I just didn't like Shanks because of that lack of charisma. And because Shanks, again, like as a character, he's very like what makes him such a likable character is that charisma, that humility, but how he can switch, he can switch when the going gets tough, or when you go up against when you put someone he cares about in danger, how all that switches on its head.
Yeah,
and that's something that they didn't nail with him.
And I'm telling you why, because that was not
no, I know, because they were trying to they said let's prioritize this instead of this. I totally get it. I just feel that they could have done both.
They could have.
They could have.
It was there. Fan. It was.
But I think like there. Out of all the characters in the show, my biggest gripe I think was Shanks.
Oh no, I don't think that's the biggest gripe.
But that's also because all of the Shanks scene, it didn't get me hype. I remember in the manga, because I read the manga and I read it to like a color version. When Mihawk walks up to Shank and shows him the bounty, there is an angle that they show all of the character almost sitting in the shadow, making them like almost as if they're gods. Yeah, mysterious gods, fighters. I didn't
like
get that
Shanks is hype. Shanks every time he appears in the manga, it is absolute hype.
Yes, they show Shank and half of his face is hidden. You only see the one eye looking up, and you see the smile happening.
So you're
I
here.
know when everyone read that manga, everyone got excited. They were like, "Holy shit, Shanks is back!" Because again, in terms of like the manga length, this man had been gone for months. You had no like collection of where he was. They didn't get that feeling from the anime. When he appeared on that beach, I was like, really? Like, it didn't capture this feeling that Shanks group is supposed to be that OP group of pirates that is.
They just felt like bums that were on the beach. They were just unconscious, like.
I mean, the Shanks pirates are bums,
but the anime and manga, they show that off to like where it's like, yeah. Sure, they're bums, but don't mess with them. Don't provoke them. And it's one of those things where I think the reason why it's a big fumble here is because this is some of the very few scenes we have with Shanks, even in the source material. So unless the writers decide to like integrate Shanks more into like future seasons where they show him doing more things before, you know, the other parts in the story where he actually is coming back into the plot, it's like, well, god damn it, I guess that's it for Shanks for the foreseeable future. We're not going to get anything else with him until they get way later into the story. So when you mess him up like this, I hope, and you see, Toasty, that scene right there, that right there in the background, Toasty, in your background right now, that is what I'm talking about. I needed something like that. I needed you walk into that den.
In the middle.
You walk into that, you're like, oh my god.
So let me. This is a reoccurring problem within the series. Is that a lot of these? I don't want to call this an emotional scene. This is a gravity scene. This reels you back into the gravity of kind of it all, kind of like the bigger scope of things.
So you're here, Luffy. I know that panel.
They did not nail some of these bigger scope gravity scenes of the scope of the world of One Piece. And I'll come back to this concept later when we get there. But this was, as you're saying, this is a scene where you're supposed to be like, damn, this is a big deal. Yeah. The Shanks pirate, the red hair pirates are a big deal.
No, and you know, like
it's a big deal.
It's like, I'm really curious, you know, like because of how they portrayed them here, you know, because this show, it seems that they want to play the long game. They really want to go the distance with this show. So it's like, what's going to happen when Marineford or when...
that better be good.
And like when they say, you know, like Shanks, he's not just a bum. Like he's one of the 4 most powerful people on the planet. So it's like it gives them more ground to cover. That's just, and again, I hope they fumbled here and like the first season, like these moments, sure, but it's like fumble here.
Fumble
learn,
here.
Fumble here.
Learn
This is
from
the
your
one.
mistakes.
East Blue.
Learn from your mistakes in the East Blue so you don't repeat them in the Grand Line.
Listen, everything goes up from here, right?
So-
Everything literally goes up.
With Axe Hand Morgan, that entire arc, yay or nay? Fan? Yeah, Tozy, get the hell out of here.
Okay.
Yeah, nay? Like
Can I
you didn't like the Axe
No.
Hand Morgan arc?
Okay, I didn't like Axel Morgan. I didn't like his son arc because in the manga panel or in the manga, one of the best scenes is seeing the son being from that weakling to forming a bond with Toby just because of their interaction together. I did not get this feeling from this.
Wait,
live adaptation.
wait.
No. I guess what he's talking about.
No,
Like,
There's
but
the scene where Helmeppo's pointing the gun at
you wanted
Kobe.
that scene?
No, not only
No,
that.
no. The training. So when Helmeppo and Kobe become really good friends, like they form.
Yeah.
And not even that, they become brothers.
Yep.
It's like I think that's gonna be seen in season 2 because it's
Wait.
during Garp's training.
Hold on.
two
Let
different
me
things.
stop that right now. I'm talking about this arc, episode 1, just the Axe Hand Morgan, Helmeppo being a douchebag, Kobe being introduced into the story, Luffy being introduced, all that stuff. Also, episode 2, I guess, right?
Well, episode 1, I might say might have been the best episode of the series. I thought from start to finish, it was pretty good as far as, introducing Luffy, Nami, Zoro, and condensing this arc. Alvida was really quick, as it should have
Holy
been.
crap, I forgot about Alvida. Wow.
Yep, Alvida should not be long. And then, it was fun watching Luffy and Kobe navigate Shell's Town and him interacting with Nami, then interacting with Zoro, and I think it all came together quite nicely. I think the action bit at the end of episode 1.
Episode 1, like that action sequence.
Episode 1 was really good.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I thought the Zoro, a lot of the Zoro fight scenes are really good.
Yeah, the choreography just
Zoro,
hands down.
like Zoro has the best fight sequences in the show.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say like hands on. So and
he has the most best fight sequences.
And I think it's very obvious that it's like this wasn't like a choreograph that like you taught him how to wield swords. I think like this guy has had training.
Well, McKenyu's been around. He was in one of the Rurouni Kenshin movies.
Wow.
Yeah, like this guy has training.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They let him do a lot of.
He has a resume that would show.
Which is something that when Sanji is fighting, I kind of I noticed that this guy doesn't have like the training with the kicks.
Listen, they put these actors through the ringer.
Oh no, I know, no. It's not like I'm not shitting on them, not at all. They put them through the ringer, but it's like when someone has training and when someone doesn't. Like that's what I'm just gonna leave it.
Go look at his Instagram. His kicks are real. Go check him out. Like he's got training. You may not have had training before entering this project.
Oh no, that's what I'm trying to get at.
But
it's like for sure they trained them here, but there wasn't any like prior.
Yeah, at least for episodes 1 and 2, outside of the whole Shanks bit, I think this was probably the episodes with the best flow, where I had less problems with the changes that they made compared to later episodes. I'm okay with all the changes they made in episodes 1 and 2 regarding the Axe Hand Morgan bit. I like that all the Straw Hats meet here.
Yes.
I don't need to see Nami later at Orange Town.
I was totally fine with that.
Totally
it makes
fine.
sense to do this here.
Yeah, that it was perfect. And Luffy showing off his abilities. We saw Gum Whip, Bullet,
Pistol and Whip is what
Pistol.
we saw.
Gum, pistol.
And
I love it.
I wasn't expecting top-notch CGI, but the CGI was fine.
It was
I
fine.
mean, it's
it was
clearly
fine.
you could tell it's CGI at times, but
Right.
Yeah, like
it is what it is.
I think when it comes to anime, that's also one of the barriers. It's good because there are a lot of animes you're gonna have to rely a ton on CGI.
Well, One Piece in particular is
Exactly,
going to have to rely
because it's so
That was literally
outlandish, goofy, like fantastical. That yes,
that was
but
one of the reasons.
but they did a good job in that opinion, in my opinion, when it came.
No,
to it.
I think they did good, and I think there's other moments in the series that are better. Buggy, for example, I thought.
Okay,
the
so
Buggy
Orange,
CGI
so
killed
Orange Town.
Orange Town. I think Buggy
So-
CGI was pretty top notch.
What about
No,
the
and
character,
like- and again, just like
the
hammering
character
this,
of Buggy?
stamping. Buggy killed it. Buggy, I
Um,
love Buggy.
Buggy as a character, I think, was really good. Jeff Ward is the actor.
Jeff
I think he
Ward.
nailed Buggy. However,
He nailed it.
this is where I start to have problems with kind of how they choose to adapt certain things. I was not having fun watching Luffy be locked up, and actually all three of them being locked up the entirety of the arc.
You
wasn't
didn't
a
like
fan.
Kabaji spinning Zoro around in a
All right,
circle?
okay, I'm glad you mentioned Kabaji, because Kabaji was in Shellstown, which I thought was cool.
Yes.
you know,
He was at the bar.
Yes, this is what I like when it comes to adapting. You can play with these things as much as you want, so as long as the end game is typically still the same. So if Shellstown was going to be a hub for other pirates to meet, I thought that would have been cool. So Kabaji being there, I thought was cool. Kabaji riding the unicycle, I thought was being cool. But here's where I think is a problem of the series, is that they pick and choose when they want to lean into this goofiness, right? There are goofy moments throughout this adaptation. I think I would have liked Zoro getting in a fight with Kabaji on the unicycle. Clearly he can ride the unicycle, like, and for a short distance, but I don't know. I just felt, as far as this arc goes, nothing really happened here that I was truly engaged with.
It was all inside the tent.
It was all inside the tent, right?
Yeah, it might as well not be called Orange Town. The
right.
arc. It's just the circus tent.
Orange tent.
Orange tent, yeah, call it Orange tent. Because that and honestly, a lot of the times when they transitioned, like when the scene would fade to black because Luffy would get knocked out or they trapped him in a box or something, I thought they would like wake up in the town or something, because they started off in the circus tent, now they're gonna go somewhere else. But it would just fade to black and then fade back in to the same spot they were in already. They're still in the tent.
Meanwhile, the crowd is still watching all this go down.
Yeah, and it's like, so wait, are we all just sitting around waiting until they wake up? Is that the name of the game? That moments like that. Yeah, I'm like, okay, all right, this is kind of dumb. But I still think Buggy as a character with his chop powers. Toasty, go ahead. What you got to say about Buggy? Speak up.
I don't like clowns.
I don't like clowns. I
Okay,
don't like
Buggy-
clowns
Buggy's your
either, but-
favorite
Buggy,
character from the
Yes,
source material. So what
Buggy-
are you on?
Buggy is my favorite character from the source material, but that's because, again, we have to remember, at least for me, there's a different adaptation between the anime manga versus the live action. I feel like Buggy in the anime and the manga is just hilarious. That he's some kind of loser, that someone built his way up, and nobody understands how he got to that top position. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah.
In terms of the live action, I didn't think he was funny. I felt like he was a discount Joker. There, I said it.
A
was a
discount Joker.
I'm
sure he was trying to channel maybe a little bit of Joker, sure.
Yes.
Well, which
he
Joker?
reminded-
Which Joker?
Any of them.
Honest,
Jared Leto
any of
Joker?
them.
Heath Ledger, Mark Hamill, most likely.
Okay.
Yeah. But like, I feel like that's what it was. I feel like he tried way too hard to be a clown. And instead of being a pirate that's a clown, he was a clown that was a pirate.
That's a
That
good
was the
point.
main difference.
That's a good
That was
point.
the difference. You being a clown is just part of your personality, but instead he made his entire personality. That was all it was. Plus, I didn't like what he did with his arc because he didn't meet up with Alvida early on. He had that entire thing when he was captured by Arlong. I didn't like all of that, but like again,
Well, we'll get there. I
Well,
have
well,
thoughts
but
on
for
that.
yeah.
okay. Yeah,
that's
I
what
mean,
about that.
we didn't get the buggy ball in this arc. Unfortunate travesty.
Saw the damage.
Saw the damage, yeah. Which you would imagine
Yeah.
has to be the buggy ball, but they never even say the word. They never even say the name.
Which is something they did show in the manga because he showed it off to Luffy.
They
to
literally
show how
load it in the
powerful-
cannon. They're like, we're gonna kill you
Yes.
with the buggy ball, and yeah, they changed a lot in Orange Town, and to a point where, because this is all in the tent, you know, the townspeople are surrounded, you know, Luffy and everyone inside the tent. But one of the things I feel like they missed a lot, and they did it again in the Arlong Park arc, the writers kind of forgot that the town
Is a character.
is a character. They're also a character in the story. The whole thing with the mayor and the dog in Orange Town, thrown in the trap. The mayor's there. He got
The
like
mayor's
maybe
there.
he got 2 lines maybe.
How can we thank you?
Yeah.
Are you our new captors? and that's it. That's it.
We're
And-
good pirates. If you couldn't tell.
Oh, really? Thank you. And then goodbye.
Goodbye. It's not much, but here you go. Some food for the travel. That's it. They saw the dog. The dog was there. But you see what I mean? Like, the town is a character in these stories. And they dropped it with Orange Town. They do it again in Arlong Park. We'll get to that. But they did it here. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I personally like Buggy. I just didn't like that all of this was like inside of the tent. And kind of like what Grandy Teach is saying, the whole thing with Kabaji spinning Zoro on the thing. I'm like, come on, man, like throw a pie or something, like cut him with your unicycle blades, or I don't know.
You can lean into
play
with, right. You have the greater story elements you can play with, and you have these goofier sides of it that you can play with. And yeah, it was a very stagnant episode. Yeah, it wasn't lively. And darkly lit too under that tent the whole time.
Oh, that's because of Chop Cannon. They don't want you to see the CGI budget tanking.
Yeah.
All those pieces flying around. Yeah, they don't want you seeing that.
I guess. So yeah, no. Orange Town was pretty weak, I think. If anything, the flashbacks are what saved it. Even however you feel about Shanks, the red hair pirates action bit was
good. That was good.
No,
I actually like
that part
that.
was good.
Oh my god, that was probably the most action we've ever seen from the red hair pirates, even from the source material.
Other than Film Red.
Other than Film Red, which came out last year. One Piece debuted in like late 90s. My mind was blown. You got to see Yasop action. And who doesn't like Yasop action? Dual pistols, bouncing bullets off of metal.
Ricochet,
that was
good.
That's what I'm talking about. That's goofiness. He's
that's
bouncing
playing.
bullets.
That's playing.
Right. And like they even mentioned Mochi, the lion tamer.
They did, yeah. The lion.
Where's the lion? I'm like, it's okay. Bring out this really kooky looking animatronic lion. It's fine. Just
make it funny.
Yeah,
make it goofy.
Fun.
Goofy.
Because that's what we like One Piece. It's supposed to be goofy.
Right. It's not supposed to be taken so seriously. Yeah.
Exactly. And I hope in the second season they learn from their mistake. They're like, okay, y'all, let's just go crazy with it. Let's make it a clown show every single episode.
For sure, they're gonna have a bigger budget for the second season.
They better
got me
double,
worried
triple
about
that
Chopper.
budget.
You got me worried about
Chopper's gonna be hard. Chopper's gonna be tricky. Chopper's gonna be tricky.
They're
I'll
gonna
give him
release
that.
the first image and he's gonna look like the OG Sonic animation and people are gonna lose their shit. And be like, no. Go back to the drawing board. Whoever messed that up, let's start over. I'm calling it right now. Somebody's gonna want to cut corners.
That's
Saving
very
us.
Correja. Oh my god.
Syrup Village.
Syrup Village. Usopp, I think do my boy Usopp some justice, but Usopp had the weakest backstory. Did not like his backstory whatsoever.
I don't like how I don't like they missed the mark with Usopp running around saying the pirates are coming, and I don't know. It really I like the beginning.
For me, the weakest link of the 5 in this season is
Syrup.
Usopp.
Okay.
Well, but Syrup Village, and it's so weird because it's like they really chose not to kind of set up Usopp's arc. Like we didn't get much of he's a coward. we got that he's a liar, but they were leaning more into he's full of shit versus being an outright liar. Does that make sense? Like they even said it a couple of times. Zoro was like, "Oh, he's full of shit," you know.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was interesting because I think it's this thing where they're trying to make him as a character more realistic, but in all honesty, they are missing what's integral about Usopp's character. Like I said earlier, we don't really get to see his ingenuity as far as like making the traps, making the fake pirate flags, you know, Captain Usopp of 1,000 pirates. That's really what that all was about, that Usopp is creative, and there was none of that. They did, however, they made him a shipwright, or they made him work in the shipyard.
Yeah.
You know, where now he has a personal attachment to the Mary from the get-go.
Right.
Interesting. I'll take that, I guess.
I'll take what I can,
But
because
for sure, Usopp is the weakest link of the 5, and like not only as a fighter here in this live action adaptation, but as a character, he is the weakest link of the 5.
And it's not the actor.
It's not the
Jacob.
actor. Yeah.
No. It's not the actor at all.
It's
like
the direction.
The actor did what he was told. He did a good job at it.
Even in his own arc, Usopp, he used his slingshot once in the kitchen to like that dumb scene with the colonels or whatever he was like shooting.
Colonel, yeah.
And then he gets one shot with the slingshot against Captain Kuro of 1,000 Plans, and Kuro catches it. Now I'm okay with that. I'm not expecting him to land a hit on Captain Kuro, but that's it. In Usopp's own arc, those are the only slingshot bits you get.
Yeah, Usopp
and
Usopp is a passenger in his own arc.
And Luffy says, "Usopp, I want you to be my sharpshooter."
What did you see, Luffy? What did you see him do? What did he do? Why do you want him on the crew?
Usopp, you gotta go with them. Why? He has not once in this arc said anything about being off and going to be a brave warrior or a pirate.
Nowhere.
Not once.
I feel like you missed that with because some of the omissions in this arc, like the 3 kids from the Syrup Village.
The Usopp Pirates. You don't have them in here, so now you don't have that kid nature where he's always talking about going out to sea and becoming a brave warrior, outside of him just going to Kaya and telling him just stories about his adventures at sea, his BS stories. But aside from the Usopp bit, there were changes in this arc that I think were honestly a little bit better than the source I don't want to say
material.
they're better, but it was good. What they changed was good.
What? Go ahead. What was it?
Okay, so the crux of this arc is Kaya being sick, Klahadore actually being Captain Kuro.
Well, real quick, Klahadore, Robbie Rotten vibes. Robbie Rotten, please.
From Lazy Town?
Yes, please tell me. I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one.
I was not thinking.
Oh, don't you dare! No, I'm not.
No.
Robbie, now it's in your head. You're gonna be looking at him now as Robbie Rotten.
I will have to go back and look at it, but not once did Lazy Town.
Yep.
Go through my head.
I'm like, who is this? We are number one. Hey,
Sportigus. Oh, the girl with the pink hair. She says, "You got to do the cooking by the book."
Listen, I'm only here for Robbie Rotten. I'm only here for Robbie Rotten. I'm sorry.
Listen, sure, whatever. The choice to make this arc or the conflict a horror-esque film.
I liked
that's
it.
what they were. It worked.
I liked it.
It worked.
No, I liked it.
It was interesting. It was
fun.
It was fun. Klahadore just walking into. He didn't have to do this. He did this out of choice. He's walking down the hallway saying, "Oh, Kaya."
I hate it, you're whining.
I'm like, God, just kill her. Why you got to do all this extra stuff?
There you are.
It was fun. I had fun. I had fun with this. I had fun.
It was
engaging.
Part. It was moving. We were not stagnant the whole time.
Right.
So that part I like. And again, here's my thing. They made him do the out to the bag attack where he's
out the bag. Oh, where I. Whoa, no. Cat out the bag is.
well, whatever
when
the hell it is, where he's doing the quick step.
he has the quick step, and then the out the bag one is where he just like gets bloodlust and he can't tell friend from foe, and he starts cutting.
Okay,
everyone.
fine. So there's no out the bag, but
Actually,
the fact that he's moving, like
yeah.
like if you're gonna see how they picking and choosing what they want to lean into, what silliness they want to lean into.
Right. It looks like, silly on screen, watching him move.
Yeah,
like
it
that.
does, but it's still fun.
It was fun. No, yeah, it was fun. Yeah, that's the big thing.
Them as like the team was also like they really were like picking and choosing their goofy, fantastical moments, and I think it was like we got to make some of this fantastical. We can't go like full out like on all the fantastical stuff. I would have loved them to go full out on all the fantastical stuff.
Yeah, Django, no Django.
But yeah, it seems that it really seems that they were picking and choosing, because there's some parts that you're like, oh, this was very realistic, and then it's switching like, wait, what? What is this?
Right. So
what was? I was gonna ask what was the Mary thing that you mentioned earlier? Why he was
That
dead?
he died.
Why he was dead?
Yeah,
versus
you said you were gonna explain.
Oh, okay. So they said
they, as in
the
showrunners.
And I think it was it was something I read about. It was speculation.
Oh.
For what maybe an interview or so with the showrunners.
Okay.
Not entirely sure it's from the source, but they were saying by killing off Mary, you now make Kaya more independent, and she doesn't have to depend on a caretaker still,
or a friend. It could have
right,
been a friend.
Right.
So now she's all alone. By
Now
herself,
she's by herself in that big ass house. The one that her best friend, her butler chased her around like a maniac. Now she's by herself.
Yeah, Kaya's like, yeah, girl. It's like she's like, oh, write to me, Usopp. Come back to me, Usopp.
Okay, Dr. Mondo, you bring that up. Were you a fan of the love interest here?
I'm fine with it.
I'm fine with it. It was implied in the manga.
It was implied.
It was implied in the manga.
I think the I would have been fine if they would have done it exactly like the manga, because in the manga I think it's like more platonic from like Usopp. Like Usopp is like he sees her, and she's honestly friend zoned Usopp all the way.
They're good friends. The fans are shipping them together.
I was fine with it being here like very obvious.
I mean, they
and if anything, like I hope they can, because like we've been complaining a bit about like Usopp's character right in this live action adaptation, and I hope they can use that like romantic, like that romantic link, saying like, Usopp, you want to be a brave warrior of the sea? You want to be a brave warrior of the sea for Kaya? Like, kind of like really to try to hammer it in for Usopp's like big moments down the line in the series, that to be like an added motivation or like an added oomph to those moments with Usopp.
Not that he needed Kaya.
Not that he needed it again,
but I guess you can play with that.
But, like you already set the stage. Why, like, use it.
Right. They can. Which I guess that'll be fine. It didn't bother me.
It doesn't change the overarching story of the character, really.
Right. My biggest gripe just with this arc was that, again, we've been talking about how they shorthanded Usopp. My biggest gripe was they could have explored Usopp more in episode 4, so the ending of this arc, but they took out a big chunk of that for Zoro's backstory, because Zoro.
You didn't like Zoro crawling out of the well?
Zoro needed to think about why he wants to be the greatest swordsman, so he could get out of a well.
What's wrong with that?
This is terrible.
You mean the placement? The placement of it is terrible.
Well, the well thing I think is stupid. First of all, like it's just It's there to make things more desperate, make the situation more dire. Yes, you could have placed, I mean, no, not you could have. You should have placed Zoro's backstory in the next episode. Integrated throughout right before his fight with Mihawk. Because that episode ends with his fight with Mihawk.
Right.
And so that would have been perfect buildup for them to introduce why he wants to fight, who he's fighting for, and then
I agree, yeah.
Yeah, just finish it off with Mihawk. I don't know why they put it here in Syrup Village so we can understand why he wants to get out of this well so badly.
Yeah,
I thought this arc was about Usopp.
No,
I thought this arc was about
agree.
Usopp as well.
Like the flashback in itself
It's good.
The
good.
flashback is good. It's the placement, the where it's placed.
Flashback is not the best.
Yeah, it's placed in an awkward situation.
It could have been put in. They could have put in that flashback either, and the romance dawn when he's just there. They could have put it there, or they could have put it there.
That's where it was in the source material.
Or they could have put it like, prior to his fight with Mihawk, or like they could have put it there. So I totally agree with you that the timing of that flashback was not the best. But again, like my biggest gripe with Syrup Village is that this is Usopp's arc, and he was a passenger in his own arc.
Very sad. Very sad.
And like that, like for
travesty.
me, that was like another one of the gripes that I had with this series. That Usopp was a passenger in his own arc, and that's sad.
It is. It's very mishandled, and I hope there's like a forum where people can express this, and I hope the showrunners are listening because they got to do better with that. Before we talk about, I guess, this fight here, let's just talk about, before the fight, the elephant in the room. And this is kind of an overarching thing as far as Garp, Kobe, Helmeppo. They literally, I did not think we were going to see them interact with the Straw Hats in this arc. And
Yeah,
that was a
story.
Yeah, it was a little weird seeing it. Like, I understand what they were trying to do with the Garp and Kobe and Helmeppo story, so that you can buy that bond between Helmeppo and Kobe early on, so when they do show you them later, it's believable. Because the last time you saw Helmeppo, he was a douchebag, and now you're supposed to accept the fact that he's one of the good guys now. I'm like, I don't know about that. But I mean, like what we were saying earlier, a lot of the Garp and Kobe and Helmeppo bits interject in almost all of these episodes, and that takes away time from that we should be dedicating to the Straw Hats. And I feel like that was a lot of the things that Oda kept butting heads with these showrunners on, because he didn't want to have this whole Garp subplot in here, and they kept saying no, we must have it in.
No, and I think they, it's fine that they put it. I just think they put in too much.
They put in too much. It was
exactly because
it was egregious.
I think they could have put that maybe like a half episode. And that's it.
Well, what they could have done is
a half episode in the entire season, meaning you took one episode and maybe like half of it, or maybe like a third of it, you made it like the Garp, Kobe, Helmeppo, blah blah blah, and that's it. You didn't. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, as I was saying, Helmeppo, one of the most iconic stick in the manga and the anime, is when Morgan escaped and he grabs his son into the boat, and you can see the son screaming as he's stretching his arm out toward the ship where the rest of the crew is. And that was at the scene where he finally said, I am done dealing with my dad being an abusing asshole. I want to be a Marine. And that's what started the bonding with Toby. You don't get this in the live action. He was a douchebag up until like really the last episode he appears in. And certainly, God told him, I'm going to train you guys together.
He was toning down. He was toning down a bit.
We're led to believe. And live action that somehow they form that invisible bond behind screen when they were not on screen. And I'm not okay with that because it just feels out of place. Because remember, those are two characters later down the story become part of a group together. So those are not just two random characters that hate each other and they become friends and they move on. No, they become a form of a crew together with other people. And I did not get that interaction, and he did not get his redemption arc. Melpo till the end to me was still a douchebag. And nothing shows it. I don't understand why they included Garb and Morgan. They didn't show the scene of Morgan trying to escape. That would have taken 5 minutes. Instead of showing me the Zoro backstory, show me the Morgan scene of him trying to escape, which explained why Melpo decided certainly that he wants to become a Marine, and he's done running away, and he's done being a clown. We didn't get this. Unless I fell asleep.
No, I mean, no, we didn't get that. I only need, as far as, if you're going to include, this B plot with Garp, Kobe, and Helmeppo, I'm fine doing check-ins with them. But when you have them with Kobe showing up at the mansion, I'm not big of a fan because
that's right. They did
it didn't amount to anything,
Yeah.
I would have been.
You're under arrest.
Well, Luffy was drunk. He barely knew Kobe was there. But all it was just another scene of Kobe's like, I have orders. I have to arrest you, Luffy. Kobe, Marines protect the innocent. Kaya's innocent. I gotta protect her. I'm a good pirate. It's so much hammering of this concept that there are good and bad pirates. Like, let Kobe figure that out on his own. Let Kobe come to his own conclusions about what kind of pirate Luffy is versus, this direct telling of it. And I was not a fan of it.
He spoon-fed everything.
If spoon feeding. If you're gonna do that bit with Garp at the end of Arlong Park, I guess I'll take that over this weird, let's insert Kobe here and Helmeppo here. I'm not a fan of it. But I'm fine with checking in with them. I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with the check-ins. But yeah, just weird placements for these interactions that they have with them. But overall, I mean, I would say Syrup Village was like a good. The parts that were good, I liked. Like the
fight
element.
saved it. The fight saved it.
I like the back and forth with Luffy and Captain Kuro.
I think that was Luffy's best fight. Luffy versus Kuro.
I don't.
I really enjoyed Luffy versus Kuro.
I don't think that was his best fight. I don't think that was.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed
it. Yeah, no, I still enjoyed it.
It wasn't his best fight.
I'm anxious to hear what you thought was better, but I really enjoyed that fight.
Louis versus Arlong.
Oh man, I don't think so.
Oh no, I will explain to you why. I
don't think so. All right,
he's gonna prove you wrong.
I enjoyed Gum Gum Bell. It was fun.
I enjoyed it. I think it kind of missed the point of what Luffy did in that arc where he was the impact of Gum Gum Bell. He wrapped his arms around Kuro's arms. He wrapped his legs for that headbutt to hurt like hell. He made sure that Kuro couldn't move. Didn't do that here, and that's fine. I still liked it. There is one fight that's better though. There is one fight.
All right, let's get to.
And so, Baratier.
Okay, I'm gonna open with this. The worst adapted arc, in my opinion.
Yeah, the most the arc that was the most assassinated.
Skip.
With studio interference.
And I'm going to explain why.
Yes, Don Krieg. Yes, we need Don Krieg. We need Don Krieg.
You said you need Don Krieg?
We need a Don Krieg.
You do need Don Krieg. You need Don Krieg.
Yeah.
It's essential to the power scaling and to Sanji as a character.
Toasty Googling Don Krieg.
What'd you forget, Don Krieg?
I know who he is. I know who he is. It's because somebody sent a message.
Well, okay. So my biggest thing is, I mean, y'all chime in whenever. My biggest thing is the gravity of the Baratier is not there as far as, it's the idea that they're here fighting Don Krieg, who they Sanji went out of the way to feed Jin and feed Don Krieg, and because Sanji's not gonna let people starve. And then Don Krieg turns on them, and he's like, "I want this ship for my armada. Like this ship is perfect for my armada." And then it's the fighting chefs of the Baratier versus the Don Krieg pirates, and it's Luffy fighting Don Krieg, and it's Sanji fighting Jin and Pearl. And then in the middle of all this shit going down, who shows up?
Mihawk.
Mihawk. Yeah, Mihawk.
Mihawk shows up, and everybody stops and starts shitting their pants. And like Don Krieg's like, it's the guy who destroyed my fleet, And
Did
then
they explain why they skipped that arc, or
they didn't explain why?
Something tells me it's that maybe like they didn't have enough like time.
I think it was just a choice.
I think it was a choice out of. I remember seeing like polls back in the day for like popularity polls for like the early villains of One Piece. I think Don Krieg was like on the low end.
Makes sense. He was the mini arc, honestly.
He wasn't a mini arc. Like this was an arc. This was like he was the villain. He was the next villain for this particular arc. But at least like compared to Buggy, compared to Captain Kuro, I guess Don Krieg really was just, here's my arsenal of weapons. I have cannons and guns. Whereas Blitz armor, spiky cape. I don't know what the other ones were, but he had all this stuff, but he had all these other characters that have fantastical powers. Some of them didn't even have devil fruits. Captain Crow did not have a devil fruit, but he was silly. He had like the knives and the cat thing and everything. Don Krieg didn't have that. So I think that's why he was like ranked low, and I think that's what they did here. They're like, do people really want to see Don Krieg?
They made a calculated decision.
And so they skipped him, and I'm like, I have a bias towards Don Krieg. I want to see Don Krieg. I want to see his Arsenal fight.
If these producers are gonna skip fights that they think were boring, what else are they gonna skip down the series?
No, like
what if Don Krieg ends up being important a year from now?
He's dead.
He's dead. He's dead here.
Mihawk killed him.
I mean,
Mihawk killed him. But I know what you're saying. It's one of those things where, at least for early One Piece, in terms of popularity, Don Krieg is on the lower end of early One Piece. All the villains after this, they're very, very memorable in One Piece. Like everyone has their favorite. Everyone loves Crocodile, Lucci, Enel, all those weirdos. But Don Krieg is often thrown off into the corner because it's like, so
he's the generic villain.
Again,
he's Don Krieg.
I think why, to your points, that is why they got rid of Don Krieg. But they forgot the biggest importance of Don Krieg was simply that when Mihawk shows up and stops the primary antagonist of the arc from continuing the fight and get scared shitless, that is the point of Don Krieg. It is to build up Mihawk in the concept of the Seven Warlords. That is why Don Krieg is there. Because literally, when Mihawk leaves, they said, okay, back to fighting. He's not here for us. He's leaving.
Yeah, he left.
It's just supposed to put it in perspective as far as how powerful Mihawk is as a character, and how really small fry Luffy is, and even Don Krieg. It's literally, I think it's literally supposed to be for the power scaling aspect.
It's a good like what's the word? Like there's a word for it in like
representation.
No,
juxtaposition.
I was gonna say Toasty, what's it called? Like a level check.
Power
like,
scale.
Like basically you come to a door and it's like a check to make sure, hey, are you high enough level to like go past this entrance?
Power scale. I guess a power scale check.
We talked about this before. Yeah, something check.
Mihawk is that person. Mihawk is that level check.
Like, Mihawk is
like,
the Margit. is the Margaret of Elden Ring.
Is the oh my god. Sure, fine. Yes. Mihawk is that goat.
It's Cerberus in Hercules.
Stop it.
Kingdom
Stop
and
it.
Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts.
No, I know what you're saying. And I said stop it.
Well, that's the last time we talked about this. That's the last time we talked about this idea.
That's fine. It's a level check. Yeah, Mihawk serves that purpose. He's a warlord of the sea. The world is bigger than what Luffy is right now because Luffy's been steamrolling everyone. But oh my god, look at this guy. Luffy can't take this guy. Not even Zoro could take this guy. So I did like that they kept Mihawk and his story at least in this, but when you take out Don Krieg, it loses some of that
The gravity.
The gravity. It goes back to Toasty's image, the for Shanks, the way that panel's drawn, the gravity of certain scenes. You don't get that if you start removing or doing scenes differently with certain characters. Not only that, you don't get like the big development for Sanji in this arc. Like, yes, you know why he does not waste food. You know why he feeds he feeds every hungry person that comes through his door, but it's not hammered into you until Gin really tests the limits of Sanji's resolve, because Gin betrays Sanji and says, "Oh, I'm gonna turn this over to Don Krieg. You have to fight me, Gin." And Sanji says, "I never leave a pilot hungry." With his lollipop, his Brooklyn accent. That cheese. But yeah, Baratier was done the most disservice. I did not. This was the arc that had the most disservice done to it, and for it to just be like a bit of a prologue for Arlong, I guess Arlong's intro was cool, but it came at the sacrifice of getting rid of Don Krieg.
Oh, how do you even find the Arlong intro that cool? And
it was fine. It was just like, oh wow, look, the pirates in this area interact with each other. The Arlong's coming to the restaurant. He wants to, find Luffy.
Here's my bit as far as kind of, I saw what they were trying to do with Arlong, as in build him up to be the big bad of the season. I think they did it poorly. They executed it poorly. Because he first shows up at Buggy's. At the
yeah.
And he's kind of shrouded in darkness. They got the hip hop music playing.
Oh man, I'm glad I wasn't the only one that noticed it.
It was so stupid.
Oh man. And then again, if you really did your homework and if you're really a fan and you're really good at storytelling, what I think they should have done is really just, Arlong is the worst of the East Blue. He runs the East Blue, and we don't see any of that, of how that looks.
You're told.
We are told that, but we don't see any of it. Like, Arlong's like, I control the seas. Zeph, no one controls the seas, even for a fisherman. I wish we could see what controlling the seas look like. Like, I don't know, fishermen, pirates, just like a 2-second scene where they show them drowning a ship or something, or flipping humans. Sure.
Oh no, I was gonna say flipping houses over,
or flipping houses over. Yeah, like Arlong was upset that Buggy destroyed Orangetown. Like, maybe give us a scene with the Arlong pirates. This is how you really destroy a town.
Right.
Something like that. Because I don't see a point of introducing Arlong so early if you're not gonna do anything with it, and I don't think they really did anything with it. That's how I feel about introducing him so early. Again, my biggest, I say this about a lot of shows, I think the Game of Thrones formula works really well if you know how to do it.
Show scenes of different characters in different areas.
Right. Now, obviously, it's a little different with One Piece. We got to spend the most time with the Straw Hats. But, cut out some of the Kobe stuff. I don't think we need to check in with Kobe.
Yeah, there's a lot of Kobe.
Yeah, I don't care much for
him.
him.
A little bit less.
Yeah, Kobe. I don't care about him.
We just don't need it every episode. It was like every episode Kobe learned something new that was pretty obvious from the get-go.
He's playing like shogi with Garp. He's
Right.
eating
You see,
steak
that
with
scene pissed
Garp.
me off because that was a waste of time.
Yeah, honestly.
That's
I mean, once was enough. Once was enough. You're indecisive. You need to learn how to be decisive. Why are we coming back to this?
I was not decisive this time, Garp.
Just show right. Just now. Just okay. We got the check-in. Let's see what Arlong's doing. What big plans? He shows up in Shellstown. So the map to my Grand Line is missing.
Wow, is that your Arlong?
A little bit, yeah. You see what I'm saying?
You need the hip hop music in the background.
do you see what I'm saying though? Like that easily could have been something right there. More.
Yeah.
I thought you said you were gonna leave me that map. Nezumi says you got a map for me. Where is it? A straw hat kid ran away with it. A straw hat? Destroy Shell City.
It could have worked.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. If you're gonna sacrifice a villain for the sake of introducing someone else early on, do something more with it.
Right.
But yeah, Baratier, probably the weakest one. Still like Sanji's backstory.
So-
with Zeph.
Is this fight you like with Arlong and Luffy? The Arlong.
No, wait. As in, like, which one did I think was better?
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm so sorry. We didn't talk about Zoro versus Mihawk though.
I thought it was good.
It was a good fight.
I thought it was good.
It was a good fight.
Well choreographed.
Well choreographed. One thing, and again, it's going into like giving the actor more to do. I don't know if it was like a direction thing or whatever, but Zoro, our boy Zoro, McKenyu. I didn't feel that scene where he's emotional. He's supposed to be emotional, and he's promising to Luffy that I promise I will never lose again. Listen, in the anime and manga, Zoro is busting tears.
Yeah, he's bawling.
He is bawling. He is crying out his goddamn sockets. And I was expecting something like that here, where I'm like, come on, man. Come on, this is your moment. This is the only time Zoro ever cries in the series. Come on, give it to me. Doesn't give it to me.
But they couldn't do that because they made him emotionless from the beginning. If he broke down
but you see, here, this would have been a time to do it. Because if they made him, like the way you're describing it, like stoic and like, always serious, like, I'm always a serious Zoro. If they did it here, now it shows this is what makes him crack. He lost a fight now. This is his first loss, and he did it as the first mate to his captain. If there was a time to show the range of Zoro's character, god damn it, this was it. Because I'm telling you, Zoro don't get moments like this any other time in the series.
But this is the issue. The producers, for some reason, are dead set on making Zoro a typical JRPG main character. Emotionless, no reaction, only grunt. That's really his emotion. It's either calm or grunting. That is it. And that is their mistake. And if they were going to do that switch, they were going to have to rely on the actor to be able to completely switch his acting style mid-filming of the show.
I think that's what you need for the range.
But you see, I don't think they trusted the actor enough to do that. And that's on them. Because they were unwilling to take risk.
I think also... Well,
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, his moment, like where he's on the floor, it sounded more like he was struggling instead of crying or being upset. Like he's like, I promise I will never lose again. And I'm like,
what was struggling was the acting in this scene. But yes,
for me, I think again, there's a gravity to this as well that's missing. The gravity of it is missing because, in the manga, Zoro and Luffy, after Axe and Morgan, they're like this. I think they're like this. Like Zoro is ride or die, right off rip.
Yeah.
In this series, everybody, they're not ride or die, not yet. They're kind of just being strung along right now. And so, one part of Zoro's defeat is, he realizes he's weak and he'll never be the greatest swordsman if he doesn't work harder. And then the second part is, he can't be weak for Luffy. And watching McKenyu do this, and again, I think this is at the fault of the directors and the showrunners, is that I'm not with it yet as far as his ride or die ship for Luffy. And I think part of it that's why it doesn't hit. But on top of that too, the acting necessarily wasn't all the way there. And
yeah, I think one thing that they changed like in this season is what you're saying, that like that ride or die nature. I think it's because in the manga, when a crew member joins the crew, it's like they're already ride or die.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, and here it's not like that. So here it's like, okay, like this sounds interesting. It's like that mentality. But like where you see them become ride or die, at least here in the show, is the scene where it's like, hey, and they put their foot in
the dreams, right?
That was right.
That is the scene where it's like, now we are a crew.
Yes, correct.
It's like, because in the manga, every time a new crew member joins, you're part of the family. You're part of the crew. We're a crew. You're ride or die. We'll give our lives for each other. It's not like that. And again, I think that's like the element of realism here, that, in a live action, like a more realist, it's like, obviously you're not like a person you just met is not going to be your ride or die, right? And like it's shaped by the experiences that you have with these people. And I think throughout the show, you see how they're growing into a crew. They're experiencing things together, their good moments, their worst moments, learning about their ugly parts, all that kind of stuff. And I think the season ends and culminates with them being a crew, officially a crew. And like you get the Jolly Roger, all that. Now they are the Straw Hats crew. Now they are ride or die. Zoro's like, now I'm your first mate. Now I'm your navigator. Sanji's like, now I'm your cook. It's like, it's not like, oh, I'm just in it for the ride. No. We are a crew.
No, absolutely. That is literally, I think, the through line that they're trying to have through this season was like,
exactly,
how do we make these 5 a crew?
So I think, yes, I agree with what Dr. Jace the Attorney was saying, but in a way I can see what the producers and the writers are maybe trying to get at. Not that I am a super fan of it, but I can see what they're trying to do. It's like, it's that little more hint of realism that you're putting in because this is a live action, and make it like slightly more believable that like when they become a crew, oh, look at what they've experienced together. But yeah,
they're just forgetting kind of
exactly, like there's some things in between that are very important that they maybe they didn't include, or they included halfway, or they forgot. And there could be many reasons for that. One, like creative choices as to they didn't think that was necessary. 2, we always have to think about the budget part. We always have to think, Netflix and all these, they give you a budget.
These were a very expensive. This is like their most expensive.
138 mil, I think.
No, it's like right. Total. Like they give you a budget, and you gotta make do with that budget. This is not like HBO. Like they still haven't gotten to the point like HBO with Game of Thrones that the HBO was like, here's a blank check. You do whatever the hell you want. Like this is not there yet. They have to make the most of what they are given with financially and time-wise. And like sometimes you do have to cut corners. You have to make hard decisions of what to include and what not to include, because it's very easy for us fans to say, oh my God, they should have included this. And yes, it would have made the story a lot more cohesive. And yes, right. You're right.
Yeah.
But you're not in the room where it happens, where they give you the check, where they give you, this is the amount of time you have. This is like, you have to put this amount of time, this amount of effort and all that. So it's like some hard decisions have to be made.
One
But-
thing oh no, go ahead.
But hopefully, given how wide of a success this first season it's a hell of a success.
Let-
It makes Netflix invest even more on this. Give them more money, more freedom.
You better hope they're paying their actors.
Well, okay, listen. You go into a season 2, you better calm down with like by they I mean like the showrunners. Control what you're revealing early on in the story. We completely glossed over this. They didn't need to reveal Garp is Luffy's grandfather in this season.
No, but
That
Garp didn't have to be here, period.
no, I mean if you have to have Garp, sure, leave him in there. I only say that because they have a flashback in this season where it just feels so half-assed. You see Luffy on a beach
but also, you
by
know,
himself,
interesting
and he's
that
putting
we-
together a pirate ship, and Garp's like, a pirate? My grandson?
And he goes crazy
and then
over it.
And he breaks it. I'm like, there is so much to this that like the fact that you're even revealing it now because you clearly want to reveal much more later, it just comes off more as half-assed. And that's why when we get to the Arlong Park arc, there are certain things in here that I like what they did from the original source material, but again, I don't like what they changed. It's going back to Orange Town. Why is Cocoa Village not a damn character in Arlong Park? Genzo is a major character in the Arlong Park arc. And for whatever reason, it's like, oh, well, I mean, we got a lot to cover in these 2 episodes. We got to have the Straw Hats banding together. We got to do Nami's backstory. We got to make you feel for Nami and
Oh my gosh.
Belmare.
You understand they did not even say Belmare's name.
They didn't say it. They didn't say her name.
Oh, stop. Yeah.
They didn't say her name. I
They
mean,
did
it's probably
not
in the
say-
credit. No, you know what? In the
I mean, it's probably in the
is it
credits.
in the no? How do you know? What if it
I mean,
just says Nami's mother? What if it says Nami's mother?
Unless it actually just says Nami's mother, then I don't know. But
That's insane.
they,
That's
as far
Actually,
as verbally, they did not say Belmare.
I noticed that on my second viewing. I noticed like, wait, are they gonna say? Are they
And I
gonna
don't
say
even
it?
think in the captions it says Belmare.
It did not say
Okay.
Belmare.
You see, talking about like stuff being said in this arc, there's one thing that jumped out at me.
And Arlong.
When Sanji, when Sanji's doing his move and he's saying the name of his move in French,
oh,
the
yeah.
name, this man needs some training. He needs some training
Wait,
in the
wait.
language.
So in English, like you watched it in English.
Yeah, I watch in English. The
And-
French accent that the actor has is totally in the garbage. This man,
Oh,
he
no,
had
yeah,
zero
yeah,
French.
Come on, man.
Yes,
I
but you
like-
see,
Don't
no,
shut.
Look, I don't
But
go
they-
know.
watch the
Baby,
Japanese dub. I watched the Japanese dub in that scene to see if they were still gonna have it in French. The Japanese actor had the French on point.
The
It sounded-
Japanese VA had it
Japanese
on
voice
point.
actor.
No. It's
I
like
don't
I agree with Toasty. Look, I am not very knowledgeable at French at all,
It
but I
was
can tell
bad,
you
man.
the what was the attack he was doing?
he did Mukdan shot. He did Goyet.
It's like, it
Filet
was-
mignon.
Shut
you
up.
see?
Shut up. That's not a
But
movie.
this man, when you have
It's
a
just
native
bad.
French speaker needed to look at the subtitle to understand what the hell the actor mean, you fumble. Because I was like, wait, what the hell? Did he speak French? Let me go back because I cannot pinpoint what accent this man
Oh
had.
my
but
God.
I just wanted to
No, like he better
I-
get it right for Diable Jamble.
Diable Jambe. Listen, I'm okay with the terrible pronunciations.
I am not okay with
only because it's followed up with a great Straw Hat scene where Zoro's behind him and he's like, Mutin shot. And Sanji responds saying, yes, all great fighters call out their finishing moves. And Zoro looks at him like, yeah, you'll fit in just fine.
Which is really good because Zoro's the only one Zoro and Nami, I guess, have not called out their moves. So that will be a moment later on when
When they call out their
them
moves.
out.
Onigiri, you know.
Onigiri. Yes.
Asura. 9 billion worlds.
So they will. I mean, he did 3 swords, 3,000 worlds.
Yeah, he did
3,000 worlds, but he didn't say.
He didn't say it. He didn't
He
say
didn't
it.
say the name.
Right. Which I'm glad he didn't, because one thing I'm glad that they didn't try to adapt is that Zoro talks with the sword in his mouth in the anime, and he speaks so clearly, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. I hope they don't do that in the live action.
Thankfully.
But no, it was those moments were funny. It was silly that they were mispronouncing it. But okay, actually, before that fight, Nami, did you feel like Nami nailed her moment? Her
Yes.
Luffy,
Yes.
help me.
Yes. That
Yes, the best actress.
I felt the heart.
Yeah. I definitely
Why
felt
are you
it.
shrugging your shoulders like, yeah?
Because
what do you
again,
mean?
as you already stated, you know, the fact it was the whole thing with the village purposely pretending they didn't know what Nami was doing,
That was
and
taken out, yeah.
chastising her and whatnot, when in reality they were aware. You know, it was a big part of what was going on, which made it even that much more devastating. Was that, you know, she was always under the impression that they had no idea, you know, and so it kind of just adds again to the gravity of it all. So again, nothing to Emily Red. I still think she does really good with the scene, and I didn't think it was like over the top again, which is I think a good thing that they're not being super over the top. But she did good in the scene.
He ate.
Definitely. I wish we could have. I wish they would have done Nojiko better too, with her interactions with Nojiko, as far as like Nojiko being the only one who knew what was. Nojiko was supposed to know what Nami was doing, you know, and that was big part of it too.
Right.
So I'm just like all over the place with Arlong Park, but the scene, I like how the scene began. You know, Arlong. And then Luffy, get out of here, Luffy. And then finally,
You don't know what's going on. I don't.
help me. And then everything from there to Luffy doing, of course I will. I don't think he needed to say it 3 times. He said it 3 times.
It adds weight.
Sure. And then the shot for shot remake.
I loved it.
Okay. I loved the shot for shot. Yes. They were all in the exact poses. Luffy in the background, Sanji in the foreground. Perfectly done. And then Luffy, let's go. And then they did the battle shot of all 3 of them. Right. I thought that was so good. I thought that was funny. I thought it was a great fan service moment.
It was good.
And then all they had to do was walk. That's all they had to do. Oh, and Luffy putting the hat on Nami was great too. And then they stopped walking. They stopped in the village. And I said,
ruined it.
That ruined it. It ruined it. Like, and again, certain elements that you choose to take out. Yes, Johnny and Yusaku, Zoro's former pirate hunting.
I'm okay that they got rid of them.
It's okay that they got rid of them, but it was
forget about these guys.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's a big moment where the villagers are already ahead of the Straw Hats, going to go attack Arlong Park, and then Johnny and Yusaku said, "Nah, y'all will get your asses kicked, but don't worry, they're coming." Who's coming? These guys are coming. You don't know them, but they care about that girl Nami, and they're powerful, and they can beat the crap out of Arlong. So just y'all wait, because if we know them, they're coming. And that's that. And they stop in the village, and Usopp is like putting out a fire.
Oh yeah, that was kind of dumb. He got a bucket of water. He's like, I want to help too. That was so dumb. They ruined the walk. They ruined the walk to the Arlong Park, but they still broke down the door.
But as you said, there was they did the Who's Arlong actually earlier in Baratier. When Arlong was in Baratier, and Luffy's like, which one of you is Arlong?
Right. I needed it here for the finale. It wasn't there. But I mean, relatively everyone gets a moment. No Hachi. The showrunner's doing my boy dirty. Only Zoro x Sanji versus Kurobi, the Stingray. That bit with Usopp, and again, oh my god, I don't know why they do this. We mentioned it earlier, but the whole thing with Chu, and his fight with Chu, they take out one of his big moments where he's trying to be a coward, and then he ultimately gets away from Chu, but then he realizes, oh my god, why am I doing? I came out to be a warrior. I'm not here to be a coward. And then he confronts Chu and says, "Hey, yo, big lips!" And then he like shoots him with the fire star or whatever.
Yeah.
I needed that, but no, he's like, all according to plan. Hey, big lips. Like, it doesn't have the same punch.
Jeez, and I now just remember, speaking of Usopp, they omitted the whole, we don't know if Nami's really not on our side. The whole fake stabbing of Usopp.
Yeah, the stabbing. Right.
Just a lot of Usopp moments are taken out.
They don't like Usopp.
I guess they don't like Usopp. Yeah, a lot of big Usopp parts in here, which, I mean, I guess if they want to streamline it, like them, trying to figure out like, oh, is she not one of us? I guess if you want to just get to the point, I can buy getting rid of that and just getting to Nami is like a crook or working for the Arlong Pirates, but we don't believe it. We trust in her. We got to figure out how to bring her back to us. Luffy versus Arlong. I thought it was great.
I liked it.
I think it's better than the Kuro fight. I think it's better than the Kuro fight.
What made it so great?
Gatling! Oh, and also the impact. I'm telling you right here, if there's a moment where I feel like Iñaki 8 was right here. That scene with
He cooked.
That scene where he's like, "Tell me, boy, you think you could have used her as effectively as me? Use? What do you mean use? Oh God, this man ate. He ate, man. He ate right here. When he broke the sword, I'm sorry. He ate.
And listen to what you're saying, though. Who ate?
Luffy.
All right. This is a 1v1, though. They both gotta eat.
Who?
Arlong was not giving in this fight.
He gave the rest of the episode. He was a terrible person. That's all I needed from him.
His dialogue and his moments where he's talking about, the disparity of the fishman kind and, the treatment from the humankind. All that stuff is good. But when it comes to the fight, we didn't have any cool, and this is what I'm talking about when it comes to leaning into the goofiness, the zaniness.
You wanted shark darts.
Well, you brought out the sword. You brought out the sword, which is great to see, the sawtooth blade.
He didn't really use it.
He didn't use it. Luffy broke it right off rip. And from there, we just get him throwing punches. Like, yeah, shark dart. like if you're gonna give Kuro the ability to move and do whatever the hell he wants, give Arlong something. Let him take his teeth out and do the whole.
Snack time. I forgot what it was called, but
something. All they did was make him regrow his teeth, and I was like, "This is my problem: is that you choose to lean in here, but you don't choose to lean in here." And for me, the fight kind of was underwhelming. I felt it was underwhelming, not from Luffy's point of view. I thought in Yaki, again, as you said, he was good. He cooked. The dialogue was there. It was good. Just, I needed both of them to be good.
I feel like, I guess the opposite is for me for the Kuro fight. I feel like Luffy was okay in there, but Kuro's the one that cooked in that fight. Versus, I guess, Luffy versus Arlong in this one. But I mean, either way, again, showcasing one of the things that was getting on my nerves throughout the season Luffy really spammed Gum Gum Pistol a lot
Yeah.
with the
yes.
same arm, the same
Yep.
right hand, like Gum Gum Pistol. I'm like, okay, I get it. I get it. I get it. That's probably your signature first move that you showed in the story. But god damn it, we're in Arlong Park, and there's just so many other moves that Luffy has used in the story, and when we see it, we see it, but like I feel like they save a lot of that for like this one, because we get the Gatling, and I'm like, Luffy, you did Gatling a lot earlier than this. You get Battle Axe as the finisher. You got Rocket at one point with Buggy, but
no, Rocket
damn,
came with Garp.
Rocket came. Oh yeah, no, it did. Yeah.
Gum Gum Rocket.
Bazooka. That's what I was thinking.
Oh yeah, he did Bazooka to Buggy. Yep,
Yeah.
you're right.
And it's like, god damn, man, like this pistol nonsense. I get it, but it's got to be put to bed. And again, maybe for a season 2, they'll be more fantastical with the attacks, because Luffy has a very fun kit that I think they could utilize a lot more. But
yeah, absolutely.
I like the Luffy versus Arlong fight. I thought it was good. And then that's basically it for Arlong, and we get oh god, one final live action original moment of Luffy versus Garp right after this. I could have done without it. It wasn't insulting but I could have done without it. I didn't need it.
You now took kind of the the beauty of Nami finally saving her village with the help of the Straw Hats. You kind of took that moment away and you made it about Luffy.
Right.
Because Garp has finally caught up. And again, another Garp, I have to stand in front of you. Luffy and the Straw Hats, they saved Cocoa Village from Arlong and his pirates. They're good pirates, Garp. Stand down, cadet. That's an order.
No.
Right. And I'm like, you just took away kind of the big win for Nami, Could have had a little moment with Genzo, another moment with Nojiko.
We don't even see Genzo again after the.
I don't think we do. I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. After the Arlong Park raid, nothing.
No.
It's unfortunate, but I mean, the scene doesn't last too long. Garp gets off of Luffy, and you have that fun moment that Dr. Mondo was mentioning earlier, the moment where they're all on the ship and they all have their feet on the barrel and they're saying, okay, now we're ride or die. This is it. And
no, I feel again that little touch of realism is needed, because like to a certain degree, you don't want it to be a carbon copy of the manga or the anime.
No,
right?
You don't.
Like, you want it to be, obviously the blueprint is the manga and the anime. That's the blueprint. Now, what you do with the blueprint, that's what makes the series yours. As in, its own thing. And I think what they wanted to do was like put that little, like the little sprinkles of realism and really make it as though this is how these ragtag group of very, very different people from very, very different walks of life come together and form a bond. And we see the culmination of that bond in this season. I think that is something that they were trying to build on. And I feel they did a good job. Sure, some things were misses, but I really think there were a lot more hits than misses.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Yeah.
No, because I just want to emphasize that, because I know that we've been talking a lot about the misses, right? And I think it's also really important for us to think this show was not only made for us, the fans. It was made for people who have not read One Piece, who have not seen the anime. And this is made like this for a lot of people is the introduction of what is One Piece. And I think something that is really extraordinary of this show is that, like people that didn't know what the hell One Piece was because I don't read manga, I don't watch anime, and now they're hooked on this. They're hooked on the show.
I don't know how much of the viewership is newcomers.
There has to be. Like,
let me
There has to
piggyback
be.
off of
I'm
what
sure there
Dr.
is. I don't know how much though. That's what
Okay.
I'm saying.
There's no telling how much, but let me piggyback off of Dr. Mondo real quick, because I did mention similar to what he just raised, like right now. Because we're kind of like at the end, because big tease of Smoker at the end. Yay, we're gonna see Smoker season 2.
Buggy and Alvita.
Buggy and Alvita. Yay,
We're gonna see Kobe and Helmeppo train.
Yeah, God, please don't do that. Just leave up this.
Oh no, it's a
training.
plot point.
They're training
It's
in the
plot point.
background.
It's a plot point. Nope.
But right, so you finished season 1. I'm telling you, like, I'm my score at the end of season 1, I was sitting at like an 8. I liked it a lot, but my problems that we've been kind of like parroting a lot, like the thing with Usopp, the assassination of Baratier, all that stuff, that stuff was annoying, and I'm like, oh man, like they really took away a lot of these scenes or that I really liked as a fan already of One Piece. On my second viewing, I watched it with some family members. Some of them were younger cousins. These are kids that, like, in general, they don't watch anime, like in the traditional sense. Like, if it's on, they'll watch it. But like, there's so many things that's thrown at them, like on social media and like TV, like live action cartoons, movies, shows, all that stuff. I am telling you, over this past weekend, I watched it a second time, but I watched it with them instead. We watched all 8 episodes in one sitting. They were silent the entire time watching it. I'm talking like invested. They were asking questions about, wait, who's this character? Wait, his ability is what? Wow, that's really cool. What can he do with that? They never, and they know, they've heard of One Piece before. They've heard of it, but they never bothered to dip their toes into that medium. Part of it was just, they didn't feel like it. Others is like, oh my God, it's 1,000 episodes. God damn. And you and I have heard this plenty of times. Oh, One Piece is so long. 1,000 episodes, 1,000 chapters. I can't do it. These kids, after seeing this show, started the anime immediately. They're probably watching the anime right now as we're recording this. And I think just from that alone, I had this like epiphany at the end of my second watch, and I'm like, you know what? I get, that scene from Always Sunny in Philadelphia with Danny DeVito. I get it. I get it. I get it. This show's a 9. It's not a perfect 10 out of 10. I still have my grievances, but for this show to do what it did, to reel in newcomers that paid One Piece no attention and still appease veterans to be like, sure, we have our gripes, we have our grievances with characters and arcs and plot points, but goddamn, this had every opportunity to fail as an adaptation, and it didn't. Yep. It's not a failure, and it brought in newbies. It's a 9 out of 10.
I'm going to explore the zeitgeist of younger audiences.
I use younger audiences as an example.
No, I would like to listen
as newcomers, newcomers in general that don't know One Piece.
This is important. The younger audience is important. The younger audience is the audience that put Wednesday atop the Netflix numbers. They're the ones that put Stranger Things before at the top. They are the ones that are going to put this at the top among with the rest of the fandom. So I am curious about what they think. So I will report back on another date. With that said, upon my second viewing, after being, initially shocked by the changes the first time around and, what they got right and what they got wrong and whatever, it is a lot more enjoyable the second time around. And if you look as a fan, if you look past what they didn't do well, overall, it is a good story overall, to where newcomers can hop on and enjoy what is presented here, which is good. Of course, as fans, you're always going to nitpick, but my second time around, I definitely just tried to watch it and to see, is this cohesive from start to finish? And it is cohesive start to finish. It is a good show. I still think, like other shows, that there are moments where they could have done better in overall story. Like, I took my fandom out and I was like, they could have done better with Arlong as far as, you know, how to set him up as a proper big season 1 villain. Stuff like that. That always could be done better. I'm not a 9.
That's fine.
I am, but I tell you, my first viewing had me at a 7. And I was going to stand by that 7. I was going to argue it to the death of me. I was like, y'all are crazy if you give this anything higher than a 7. I now stand at an 8.
Ah, there we go.
I do stand at an 8. It's enjoyable. It's a fun.
It's fun.
I genuinely enjoy the cast. You know, they didn't nail the characters to a T. They're still enjoyable. All around, I don't think there's one cast member who I think is just god awful and shouldn't be in this show. Maybe Alvita. That's probably.
Oh wow!
I just didn't get.
Don't worry. She's
I mean, she'll be
next season.
Well, either that or she'll be better. Who knows? Well, they do the whole slim fruit, which is
I promise you, they're gonna remove it.
I figured as much. I was like, that might be problematic, fat phobic. But no, I'm sitting at an 8. I think it's enjoyable. Characters are fun. Action is good. And there's storytelling that is there. And yes, newcomers, I imagine, could have a good time with it. I'm still I'd rather people watch the anime though than this.
And that's the beauty of it. They get hooked with this. Now they're like, wait, so what was the original story?
Right. If they dare choose to go,
intended,
if they dare choose to go explore, I think that's awesome.
And the beauty of it is that a good majority, a good chunk of One Piece anime is on the same platform. It's on Netflix.
Correct.
You can watch literally the entire first season animated and beyond.
And not to mention, Netflix is the place to watch One Piece. Skip the intro, skip the recap.
Oh wow, they do have that.
Play the next episode. Crunchyroll does not have that.
Wow.
And again, like really just hammering home, like I thoroughly enjoyed this show, and I went in afraid.
I went in pessimistic. I thought this was gonna fail.
I didn't go in pessimistic. I went in afraid that they were gonna screw it up, that it wasn't gonna live up to the hype. But really, like, the cast delivered, you know. And sure, again, it is imperfect. There are some misses, a lot more hits. More hits.
Yeah.
And I think, but it still has something that's so important to One Piece, and that's the charm. It has that charm, it has that heart. It even if it's toned down to the anime, it still has that whimsical, fantastical nature to a certain degree of it that just captures you, that you as a fan enjoy it. Like, it kind of reminds you, wow, like, this is one of the reasons that I really like got into One Piece, you know? And but it also has that charm for people who were hesitant of starting One Piece because of all the, you know, we all know that people are hesitant because of the length of One Piece. And these are like people that have watched anime in general, or even people that don't watch anime at all. You know, it had that to capture them, to say like, oh, wait, this is an anime? This is a manga? Because there's some people, like some younger generation, even like older generation, that are gonna be like, oh, this is like Japanese, this is like an anime, or so, ooh, this is so cool. And you know, it kind of lets you know, like, these stories, just because things are animated, just because they're like in a manga or comic book or whatever, it doesn't mean that they're for kids. Like, this is actually a work of art, a great work of writing. And look at what you're missing. It opens your eyes, it broadens your horizons, and this show it's kind of like a gateway to that, I feel. And that in itself puts it really high up for me. I really give it like an 8.5. And I feel that they broke the curse. They really broke the one curse. And this is the perfect show, the perfect anime for them to break the curse with. So, and I'm excited for what they're going to do later on. I know Oda is going to be there every step of the way. Oda, one of the reasons I wasn't pessimistic is because Oda gave his blessing.
He did.
And that, like, when Oda gave his blessing, that was the glimmer of hope I needed. That was the glimmer of hope. Like, if at any point Oda does not give his approval, that is where I will start worrying. But for now, I am hopeful.
And
so 8.5.
A message to the showrunners: if Oda's butting heads with you on not to include
listen just to the master.
Just fucking listen to him. Stop.
Listen to Oda.
This, man. Like, I get it. You had your cake and ate it too. You got to do the Garp and Kobe subplot. Stop. Just stop. Just stop.
Because now it's here. It's not
now it's here, and now the fans know about it. I mean, that was a damning thing to even say in that interview that y'all actually butted heads with Oda. Now that fans are gonna see that online, they're gonna be like, oh, okay. So now we know next time if we should be pissed or not if they do this again.
No, it's like, let's put it into cooking perspectives here. It's like, y'all the producers, you're the line cooks. Oda's the head chef. Listen to the head chef.
Well, or he's the owner of the restaurant.
He's the head chef.
He's the baratier.
Okay. 8.5.
8.5, respectable. Toasty,
I guess.
You go ahead. Your hot take.
Okay.
Go on. We're ready.
Oh my god. Okay, so to begin with, I did enjoy the show. We have to give it the positive. It was entertaining. Some characters obviously more than others. Some characters I thought were completely neuter in terms of personality and what I expected them to be based on the source material. And obviously some arcs were not done as great as they were supposed to do. Like Harlong arc, for example, I felt honestly they could have made it 2 more episodes if they wanted to include everything that happened in Arlong Park. The entire part of Nami stabbing Sanji Usopp, for me in the manga, that was amazing. Like, damn, trying to figure out all those little details. The fight was good, but the fight was not as long as I expected it to be. And it does make me worry for future fights, but the excuse is they're going to have a bigger budget. This show is the #1 show
bigger than this right now?
They're going to get a bigger budget, yeah.
#1 show in Netflix, #1 in multiple countries. It's trending. It's universally being praised by a lot of people, even the people like me who have some part of the series that we don't like. We still think it's a good step in the direction to get new people to enjoy a piece of media that is so popular to us, but it's still excluded to a whole bunch of other people, which is amazing. However, I don't like mid, so I have to settle for 7 out of 10. My rating was 7 out of 10 before coming here, and it's still 7 out of 10, just because I don't like the minor changes. Those were minor changes now. What else are they going to change in the next season that are going to piss me off? That's the issue. And that's where I'm going to give them the excuse. Just when we play video game, I always said to Dr. Chase, the first game is always your trial. You get to make your mistake. The sequel is what determines how dedicated are you to the media that you're producing. So I cannot give it a 9 out of 10 because giving a 9 out of 10 means that regardless of all of the crap that they did in the first season, mistake, things that they removed, it was almost perfect. And we are willing to excuse them in the next season if they do the same thing. Give them a 7 out of 10, and we're going to see where they go. Hopefully, they learn their lesson. Stop writing your own version of a show. This is not your piece of work. Stop messing around with it. Just follow what people like. We watch this show because we like One Piece, not because we like you as a director. So stop messing around. It's not your piece of art. Like, imagine creating something and you have a clown putting a red dot over it and say, look at this. This is amazing. It's mine. No, it's not. Stop messing around. Mid-piece, live action gets 7 out of 10 for me.
Let's relax. It's not mid-piece. A 7 out of 10 is a pass.
My inner thought, 7 out of 10 is barely passing. That means you barely finished this finish line.
You move on to the next grade, as teachers would say. You
move on. You struggle past the next grade.
Bro,
and I'm looking at you and saying,
C's get degrees, bro.
all it takes for you to trip one more time and you just roll down the mountain. And I hope they learn their lesson, because as we said, we all enjoyed it. And I'm not anybody listening I enjoy the show. Don't get me wrong. It just aggravates me that they remove certain parts. And I looked it up. Don Creek is not dead, according to the Wikia. So for all we know, this fool might
to
the live action wiki.
No, the manga anime.
No, in the manga he's alive, but in the anime, I'm sorry, in the live action he's dead.
But that's my point. Think about it. What if the author pull an ass full 200 episodes from now? Think about Boogie in the first couple season or the first couple volume of this show. No one would have expected where he is right now. What if they had killed him?
Actually, Binky was Barfy. He was actually still prevalent very early on in One Piece. He had his scenes, but at the same time, he did not have the impact that he has right now. And of course, I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it yet, but he does make it big. And this is coming, and I don't know all the details because I'm still catching up, but I do know he's up there. And this is something where these producers twerking and moving things, changing things up. Stop messing around. We don't care what you want. We want what the author wants. We're not watching it because we want your own version of I don't know, like think of any piece of media, a statue or painting. We're not gonna go to the Louvre and get the painting that some local fool did. We want to see the original piece. We don't care. Original piece.
Yes. We don't want to see. Oh my God.
But I get it.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, for season 2, more stricter, I guess, critique. This was their trial period. What works, what doesn't.
It was your first game.
It was your first season.
Your first show.
You reeled in the positives for the fandom. It's Netflix's most successful show. Now we go into a season 2, and now you really see, okay, you got the criticisms. Let's see if you address them and make it even better follow-up to season 1. Obviously, I won't be singing the same song and dance if the same mistakes are made in season 2. And I'm like, well, God damn it. It was okay for a season 1, but now you're just pissing me. Now you're trying to piss me off.
Watch, in season 2, all it takes is Luffy's going to throw a bucket of water at Crocodile and say, okay, guys, we won. Let's go home. That's how the season's going to end. I'm calling it.
Next season will be Baroque Works. That'll be fun.
They got a lot to cover. They got
upgrade the episode count to maybe 10. I feel
maybe.
More than 10. I could say
like
12,
again
13, 14.
Again, a bigger budget is gonna should make a big difference.
Yeah.
Because again, there, as I've said, a lot of changes, things that they take out. Sure, we don't agree with the things they took out, but we also have to think, they're in a table and they're like, okay, we got these set amount of resources. This is what we have. This is all the source material that we got. We do not have enough time to put all this. We have to, and some decisions are going to have to be made. Not everyone's going to like them.
Whatever decisions they make, they have to think about the scope of those decisions.
Of course, and I'm not saying that they didn't think about them.
Clearly they didn't think about some of the ones that they made here, though.
Just saying.
We'll see. We'll see.
You know, like
For
just
season
saying,
2.
like it's not as simple as like they should have included this, they should have included that. Like, yes, as fans, it's very easy for us to go that route, but we also have to think it's like it's not as easy as that. Granted, a lot of the things that they didn't include and that they changed, you know, I'm like, okay, like I like the original better here. Some things that I did like that they changed, but yeah, overall, I feel this is a step in the right direction. I am going to be much more harsh in season 2, as in like I'm going to be watching as like let's see if now you have a bigger budget, now you have the audience. Now let's see what you can do.
I think it speaks volumes that we all want to see a season 2.
Exactly.
But yeah, there it is. Season 1 of One Piece live action. Success? Different ranges, but success in general.
Success overall, yeah. Y'all keep talking about season 2. I'm most curious now to see what they're gonna do with Avatar live action. A live action where there's a lot of hype around it, and the creators left the project. So that
is not a good sign.
That should be interesting.
Scenario.
Let's see if they could repeat the success of Opla One Piece live action. We'll see. We'll see.
That Avatar thing sounds like a lot of hoopla.
We shall see. I think early 2024. We shall see. Did not talk about in depth. Early bits about hockey. Baroque works as a bigger whole. Cameos on wanted posters. The wanted poster site gag.
I like the wanted poster.
I did like the wanted posters.
Those were fun. Those were
one of the best part of the show. Yeah.
There are many things we might have missed, and we'd love to discuss them more with you in the link below in our Discord. Please join the discourse you heard on here and call us out, and we'll gladly discuss with you. But yeah, that's it for us. You heard what we had to say about One Piece live action. Check it out for yourself. Again, it's a show made for fans and made for newcomers. So come aboard and bring along all your hopes and dreams. And thank you for joining us at the Yonko table, wherever you listen to your podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Thank you for listening. Again, all the social media support, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We'll be making some moves back on TikTok. We'll see, but check out Dr. Jace in the meantime, Dr. DJace on YouTube and Twitch. And yeah, that's it from us here at the Yonko table. How shall we close this out? Shall we sing Bink Sake, which
he's not
played
even in here yet.
It was played though in the Shanks flashback. Did you hear it?
I did not hear it.
Oh,
I didn't like Shanks. So
Binks another Sakero. Sayonara Minato. That's all I got.
There we go. Oregano's for savages.